I forgot about that intro sequence. Holy shit. Jesus. That's some fucking heavy shit. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, it's fucking brutal. But like this game is fucking brutal. I forgot about that intro sequence. Oof. Oh, give me a second. I gotta let my heart recover. Gotcha. So, oh, nope. No. Oh yeah, I finally published that, the last chapter, that thing that I did. It's... I finally did it! It is completed! I'm so happy, and also, like... I don't know. Probably just happy. What is this? Oh. That looks like a button. Thank you, yeah, that's... I got a compliment on it. Somebody complimented me on it. They said it was good, so yeah. Just spend the next 3 hours just listening to Messenger. No, I'll play the game. I'll go ahead and play the game, I suppose.
さあ、岡部さん、リラックスしてください。
Oh no.
あなたは私の声を架け橋として過去へと降りていきます。どんどん降りていって、やがて柔らかい色をした光が見えてきます。
That's the goal. Yeah, it's officially on the interwebs. And like I said, once I get 50 followers, that's my condition. I will read it on stream. Once I get, that's gonna be my celebration for that thing that probably won't happen. Yo, Bad Gal Beach, thanks for following. I am now one closer. Thank you. Also, hi. Hurrah. Oh, cool. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah. Share my glorious message with the world. Oh, that's exciting. I was dreaming. Daydreaming. I was aware that I was lying on a big sofa undergoing counseling. I tried my best to stay calm and imagine what the psychologist was telling me.
その光は何色に見えますか？
赤。
Possibly, if it is within my power. What would that be? Perchance. I don't know why I'm talking like that. The dialogue. I'll try. Yeah, sure. Okabe says red. That's what color the light was.
なるほど。
Red, I see. This is gonna be awkward because it's gonna be both me and them, but I'll do it. The things I do. No, I'm just kidding.
その光の中にあなたの大切な人が立っています。その人はあなたの家族でしょうか？
The person you care about is standing in the light. Are they your family?
いや。
No.
では友人？それとも恋人？
Then your friend? Or perhaps lover?
恋人。
Lover.
いや。
No.
恋人じゃない。
Oh, Okabe, my heart! I can't. Not my lover.
友人ですらない。
Not even my friend.
ではどういう？
Then what are they?
俺とあいつは。
She and I are... Memories came flooding back into my mind like a geyser. Oh, you're gonna make me cry already. It's...
ちょっと来てくれませんか？
It hasn't even been 10 minutes. You're gonna make me cry already. Could you come with me for a moment? That's Kurisu talking. What?
椎名真由里は必要ない。
Mayuri Shina is not needed.
話して。
Tell me.
あんたがタイムリープしたのは分かってる。
I know you used the time leap machine. These fucking flashbacks, man. No, not this one.
真由里を助けて。
Save Mayuri.
ベータ世界線へ行きなさい。
Go to the Beta
真
World
由里
line.
が死なない世界へ。
The world where Mayuri doesn't die.
それがあんたのためでもあるし、私のためでもある。
Not just for your sake, but for mine as well.
岡部は私のこと覚えててくれる？
Will you remember me?
ねえ、私死ぬの
Am I going to die?
死にたくないよ。
I don't want to die. I think that one speaks for itself.
岡部さん、
Mr. Okabe.
俺が刺した。俺が
I killed her. It was me. It was me.
いいですか？私があなたの肩を叩きます。それを合図に意識がはっきりしてきますから。
Listen to me. I'm going to pat you on the shoulders. When I do, you will be fully awake.
3、2、1、はい。
3, 2, 1, now. There was a loud sound, then I felt an impact on my shoulders. Kurisu's suffering face disappeared instantly, and I could feel my consciousness awakening. I stood up off the sofa. I felt dizzy and almost fell over.
大丈夫ですか？
Are you alright?
少し休んでいてください。今、タオルを持ってきますから。
Rest a minute. I'll bring you a towel right now. The psychologist left the room. I realized I was soaked in sweat. The air conditioner was working, so I could tell it wasn't from the heat. It was the first time I'd tried hypnotherapy at a mental health clinic. My body felt strangely heavy. When I got outside, it was night. It was almost December, and the wind was cold.
どうだった？オカリン。
How was it, Ocarine? Mayuri Shina asked me gently. Mayuri was a high school student and my childhood friend, and the best thing in the world. He didn't say that, but it's true. It's true, though. The best being that ever there was. She'd come with me to counseling today. I told her I didn't need her to, but she'd left school early to come. Also, I love her freaking design in this. I love all of the, like I said, I love all the Zero designs except Daru's. Freaking, it took me a while to get used to it because I was so used to her blue dress and hat. But oh my god, this is her winter outfit is so freaking cute. I did forget the boop. Boop. And an extra. Boop. All right. Oh my god, it's so cute. I love it. All I ever did was make her worry. Are you done? Can I stop reading? I'm gonna be honest, I don't like reading the dialogue. Yes! Okay, perfect. It's so awkward. That being said, I need you to I need you to be completely honest with me. Their voice acting or my voice acting? Which one was better? Okay, all right, immediately. No. Oh man, that was so awkward. Like, I could have like turned off voices for that chunk, but like I literally I can't bring myself to, like, that's like a good chunk of why what makes this game so good is the voice acting. All right. That was incredibly awkward. Around 3 months ago, my one obsession had been saving her. To me, she had always been someone I had to protect. And now, she was worried about me. It was only because of Mayuri's recommendation that I tried counseling. Mayuri would suggest counseling. She's just such a... Oh yeah. I knew it was gonna go there. Of course it was gonna go there. I love we got all four corners of the phone. This really is the best one. Got a sec, Uncle Ocarine? I gotta go with the Mayuri one. Like, that's just... Okay. What does that say? Hold on. Oh, but I refuse. I feel like the but I refuse emoji should be Daru, but you know. Sure, yeah. Why not? Alright, I'm going with the Mayuri one. It's so cute. I can't even. Yes, no, answer me. This is why Big Sis Mayu has such a hard time. Big Sis Mayu! This game is gonna kill me. This game is going to be the end of my life. Give me a second. I have a Dr. Pepper to drink. Still not sponsored. Nor will I likely ever be. Oh snap. I don't play Minecraft, so I don't really know what I'm looking at here, but I'm sure it's impressive. I don't know. Here, I can throw it on the screen. Place all that black, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I can imagine that would have taken a long ass time. How to do this? Boop. Boop. There. Just so people know what we're talking about. I mean, I get, like, yeah, I don't, is it like, oh, it's for the script? Interesting. I have, yeah, I don't know enough about Minecraft to, like, understand what I'm looking at. But I could tell, yeah, I imagine it would have taken a while. Well done. Yeah, that's impressive. I hope it's going well. I mean, clearly it's moving forward, which is that's the first step. I don't know. Like I said, this is like the thing I did was like, I still can't believe I even started it, much less finished it. It blows my mind. Oh, that's right, the glass, yeah. You said you're getting new ones on soon, right? That's probably a good thing. Oh. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, not everybody has the same. Everybody's got their own interests. After tomorrow, awesome. All right, Big Sis Mayu. I forgot she's called her that. That's so. Everything. It's all so cute. I'm going to die. Why are we talking about Mayuri now? Who knows? I mean, you did that, my guy. I mean, I did that, but I did that as you. That's why we're talking about my hair. Okabe, please. Oh, I see. That does make sense. I can see that. I have a I have like I in my head, I have not even started on this one. I don't even know when I would start on this one, but I do have like an original quote unquote story I want to write. It's not like a fan fiction or anything. But I have no idea where to even start with it, so I have not started it. But I did at one point, I can't remember when it was, but at one point I did draw out like a certain part of the world just so I could get an idea of where things were. So I could see that. That makes sense. All right. Nope, that's it. That's the end of the conversation. Man, these end so abruptly. I love this fucking. All right.
まあ大したことないってさ。
I told her a small lie to make her feel better. Yeah, I do have the characters, well, to some degree, I have the characters, like, roughed out. I don't know what the word is. That's a whole different bag of worms, though. Actually, they told me I had suffered serious trauma. They'd stopped the hypnotherapy and given me a course of counseling and drugs. Now they wanted to wait and see the results. I can read, I swear. Basically, they decided there was nothing to do but treat my symptoms and wait for it to heal naturally. I couldn't tell if what Maho had shown me yesterday was having an effect. I think probably, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I underwent treatment without telling the psychologist about the time machine, or the world lines, or most of the things that had happened, so maybe there was no way for them to make a proper diagnosis. In any event, I decided not to think too much about the results.
なあ、マヨリ。夕飯これからだろう。何か食べに行くか。おごるぞ。
ああ、それなら秋葉原に行ってもいいかな。ルカ君とフェリスちゃんがね、久々にオカリンに会いたいって。
Akihabara, huh? The clinic was in walking distance of my house. Akihabara was much farther away. But even so, I couldn't turn down Mayuri's request. It's literally impossible to say no to Mayuri. You just can't do it. Yeah, I imagine it's not a fun place to be for him. Until the events of this summer, I'd gone there almost every day. In fact, I'd practically lived there. Lately, I only went 3 times a week, at the absolute most. And then only to go shopping on the way home from school. DVD. Classic. We went out into the plaza in front of the station. I get it. Just like in Ikebukuro, even though it was only a month until Christmas, there were barely any decorations. I was sure the whole place would be covered in them the minute it was December 1st. Eventually, I was sure to see maids in Santa outfits.
秋葉原でチラシを配るサンタ服を着たメイドか。
One of those things that that's such a funny thing that's like to be like a trope. Maids in Santa outfits. Akihabara could be really weird. That's a fucking understatement.
ああ、フェリスちゃんとルカ君だ。てってるー。
てってるー。
ふにゃー、今日
It's time. Alright. Oh my god, I love, dude, I'm gonna reiterate this every time we see a new character. I love their designs. I love this outfit. I love this outfit. Again, I remember when I first experienced the ultimate poopening. I saw, like, it took me a while to get used to these new outfits, but I fucking love them. I love them so much. Luca's in particular is just, like, I love how casual it is. It's just so, and it's so fitting. I love it. Ferris's is, like, extra poofy. My areas definitely took a lot longer for me to get used to, but I love it. I love them all. Everybody but Dara. Ferris and Luca must have been waiting. They ran over as soon as they saw us. Ferris Nyan jumped at me without the slightest hesitation. She was a maid, and Ferris wasn't her real name. I knew her real name, but if I didn't call her Ferris at all times, even when she wasn't working, she'd get mad at me. Why is maid in quotation marks? Is that not... Yeah, right? Just flying leap. She was wearing the same outfit she always wore, her work clothes from her job at the maid cafe, May Queen Nyan Nyan. Was May Queen going to switch to Santa outfits soon?
やめろよ。みんな見てるだろ。
I tried to pull Ferris off of me, but it wasn't working. I like the idea that he just grabs her by like the scruff of her collar and just puts her down like a cat. Just Maybe I should just steal the cat ears off her head.
いいじゃないかにゃ。京馬とフェイリスの仲だにゃ。
よくない。あと、京馬っていうのもやめてくれって。
That would be great.
あの名前は黒歴史だからだ。
My dark past. Yeah.
うにゃ。
Oh my god. Like I can't animate that, but I do now that we're on the subject of specifically Ferris and Okabe, I drew something a long time ago that I feel like I need to share because it's relevant. If I can find it. Oh god, do I not have it on this computer? It might have been on my last computer. Son of a bitch. Oh, well, shit. Hold on, plan B. To the old computer. No, that's in a closet somewhere. I think I can... See, now we're getting into, like, ultra cringe territory. Excuse me while I pull up my DeviantArt account. Because I'm pretty sure I put it there. Oh, God. I'm like 40% regretting this right now. What in the world is that? Okay. I'm getting distracted. Go to my things. Please. Oh my god, it's so great. Like, I wouldn't say it's good, but it's... Daru photo? I mean, it was early on, right? It was like right at the beginning. Oh, the fuck? Like the one you sent with the goofy face? That was at the first, yeah. Huh. Did Twitch, like, cut it out, maybe? I don't know what Twitch does. Twitch be Twitch. I don't get it. Okay, well, for now. Oh, that one isn't on YouTube yet. That was on the first, Zero stream, right? That one's still on Twitch. Okay. So dumb. I love the... no, it was like right at the beginning, because we were talking about how like we're ruining the mood. We were ruining the vibe. There with the fucking goofy ass Daru face. Which admittedly, it was so worth it. Okay, speaking of worth it, here's this. Oh my goodness gracious. I was very happy with this one. Alright. This tiny ass bears. Oh my god, I'm not gonna add this to the art. It's too big. It's too big, and also I don't have it on the computer. I have it, it's on my fucking whatever. Alright. I'm gonna keep playing I'm gonna keep playing the game now. No, the Kirby's are for no, the Kirby's will be back once I can do the thing. It's okay. They will return someday, perhaps, maybe, I don't know. Meow. Ferris looked upset, but I decided to ignore her. Kyoma Hoin was part of the past I'd sealed away. I decided to pretend he never existed. How dare you? How dare you pretend he never existed, considering he saved Mayuri? He's the reason Mayuri came back to you. He had meddled with the forbidden invention called the Time Machine, and as a result, the systems that ruled the world had punished him. Kirby's, I'll consider it. I will consider it. I would feel weird considering they're like the old design. I don't know. I'll think about it. I feel like a parent. I'll think about it. I'll consider it. He dashed the hopes of many that lost the life of someone he cared for, and his heart had suffered grievous wounds. He must never be awakened again. I didn't need him anymore.
じゃあ、なんて呼べばいいのかにゃ。
そりゃあ岡部とか。
やっぱりオカリンって呼ぶのが可愛くていいんじゃないかな。ねえ、フェリスちゃん。
By the way, Ferris is what Mayuri calls Ferris, which is weird considering it's basically pronounced the same. So I don't like Ferris. It's very close. She claimed it was easier to pronounce or something like that.
マユシーが言うならこれからそう呼ぶにゃ。なんだか違和感あるけど。
She looked unsatisfied, but she backed away. The idea of Ferris calling him Ocarine is so weird. Yeah, I like it. It's just I'm curious what the deal. Like I'm wondering if it has to do with the some kind of translation-ish issue, not issue, but like translation quirk, or if it's like actually there's like some difference in pronunciation that I'm just not hearing.
Luka 子も久しぶりだな。
Luca's like, oh, hi, I'm here too. Hi.
はい。
Lukako smiled happily. He always looks as beautiful as a pretty girl, but he's a guy. He was a classmate of Mayuri's and could often be seen helping at the Yanabayashi shrine where his family lived. There is no control here. There's no such thing. I probably shouldn't call him Lukako. Just like I told Ferris not to call me Kyoma. He had his own name, Luka Arushibara. But calling Lukako Luka after all this time, that would be really embarrassing.
なんだかとても懐かしいような気がします。
Oh my lord.
僕時々ラボに顔を出すんですけど、岡部さん最近あんまり来ていませんよね。
Dude, this picture in particular is adorable. Just there's something about this portrait is super cute.
あ
They're
あ
all super cute. Everybody but Daru.
大学のゼミが忙しいんだ。 ATF の準備もあったしな。
Even after that was done, I had been busy with Maho and Dr. Leskinen, and then Amadeus. I hadn't had a chance to rest. But I avoided mentioning that to them.
あとサークル活動もしてるしな。
I'm sure, like, he's cute in a very specific way. I don't know. There's club.
サークルに入ったんですか？何のサークルかにゃ？やっぱり UFO とか UMA とか。
Oh my lord. Who do you guys think I am? The person you've always been. They're still getting used to you not being him anymore. This one? Alright. Screeny the squad. Oh, I just remembered something. So it's not really super relevant, but I realized this the other day on the topic of Daru. Something that kind of blew my mind, which is the fact that, like, of all the science adventure games, Robotics Notes Dash, despite being like the horniest one of all the like, we can agree that is definitely the horniest of all the science adventure games. Like, Chaos Head is close, but it's not easy. Dash is like the horniest one, but it's funny to me that despite the fact that it is like has the most perviness of it, it's also the only science adventure game, unless I'm mistaken, unless I'm missing something, which I don't think I am. It is the only science adventure game that has a dedicated character ending for a male character. Think about it. Like, that's weird. That's pretty crazy to me. Like, despite the fact that the Subaru, the robot guy, he had the it was one of my favorite endings of that, specifically because the Okabe ending. I certainly hope there's gonna be like more. Oh, my brain completely flatlined. I hope that in Steins there's gonna be like, I hope there's gonna be more focus on, like, I don't know. I hope there's like, if there's multiple endings, there's more like for, like, you know, some of the male characters, because I find that fascinating. Like, because it is something you don't really notice until there is an exception, and then I think it's the only one, unless I'm mistaken. If there was another one, someone out there will correct me, maybe. But holy moly, it's crazy to me that, like, of all the games, it's the one where Daru is the protagonist, where a male character gets an ending, which is really funny to me. Oh my god. That would be something. What are you talking about? Ah, yes, no, yeah, of course. I had forgotten. Alright, anyways, that just cracked me up, dude. I like realized that the other day, and it stuck with me. I'm afraid I do not. I forgot the greatest ending of all time. Dude, Wind was great. I loved all those characters. I guess I hadn't told them then. Mayuri, I'm pretty sure I told her. As the two of them looked at me with wide eyes, I cracked a knowing smile and puffed out my chest. Yeah, that game was great. Like, every character was likable, with the exception of Juno. But even she was like an interesting character. She just was an asshole.
テニスサークルだ。
It's true. The people around us all turned to stare at Ferris and Luca.
なんでテニスサークルなのかにゃ。岡部さん、今までテニスなんてやってましたっけ？
The idea of Okabe playing tennis is such a bizarre mental image.
初心者に決まっているだろう。
I may not look it, but I'm terrible at sports. No, you look it. You definitely look it. You do not look like the athletic type, my guy. I'm confident I'd lose to my area at distance running. I'm pretty sure most people would lose to my area at distance running. She's like the way they describe her athletic ability, you would be hard pressed not to confuse her for like a track runner. Like it.
じゃあにゃんで？
She's just incapable of getting out of breath.
話せば長くなるんだが、大学のゼミの准教授がテニスサークルの顧問なんだ。それで勧誘された。
一つも長くないにゃ。
いや、まあ聞けって。相手は一応世話になってる人だし、サークルに顔を出してみたんだ。
ふーん。
そうしたら、なんと俺にはテニスの才能があるらしくてな。初心者にもかかわらず会員相手に連戦連勝だったんだ。どうだ、大したもんだろ。
はあ。
Blushing! Dude, I can't. Right.
岡部さんってやっぱりすごいです。
こんなことならプロテニスプレイヤーを目指しておけばよかったかな。
Oh boy.
目指せウィンブルドンだね。
ん？どうしたフェイリス？頭でも痛いのか？
どこからどう突っ込めばいいのやら。どう考えてもサークルの会員数を増やすための罠じゃないかにゃ。
いや、はっきり言うなよ。俺もうすうすそうじゃないかと思ってたけど、考えないようにしてるんだから。
Right.
でもみんないい人ばっかりなんだぞ。
じゃあサークルの練習が忙しいんですね。
いや、練習はあんまりしてないかな。
はい。じゃあ一体何してるにゃ？
Mew. What are Mew doing? Dude, I love these characters so much.
合コンとか。
Oh my god. Their shouts filled the whole street, and once again people turned around to stare.
そんなに驚くことないだろう。俺だって普通の大学生なんだから。
そうですよね。すみません。
Hey Steve-O, how's it going? How do you be? Welcome to the party of, I don't know, Steins gate inning. No, don't introduce it like that. No. Gotta hold that off. Chaos Child. Oh, dude, that might be like my second favorite of the entries. Like that one's so good. Luca was fidgeting like he wanted to say something.
フェイリスというものがありながら他の女の子たちと楽しく合コン。許せないにゃ。
勘違いするなよ。俺は女の子なんか別に。
In fact, I went along with the rest of the club, but there really wasn't any place for a wannabe normal like myself. There was no way I could keep up with the conversations that the, well, normal normies had. While the other men and women were having fun, I would just kind of sit there, right? That's me. That's my, I try, every time I leave my home, I have to like put on my normal face. Like, yes, I am a normal person. I definitely do things that normal humans do. A matchmaking party was a challenge far beyond my capabilities. I wasn't going to tell Ferris and Luca that, though.
いいなあ。マユシーもオカリンと合コンしたいのです。
何？
Mayuri wanted to do what? Is she old enough to be interested in that sort of thing?
だってみんなで楽しくパーティーするんでしょ？
Evidently not.
間違ってはいないけど、なんだか微妙にニュアンスが違う気がするにゃ。場所はラボでいいかな。ルカ君とフェリスちゃんはもちろん参加ね。あとダル君やナエちゃんやスズさんも。
She's so pure. She's so pure. She is a literal angel from the highest heaven. All right, I'm gonna spend my one for the stream. Ow! All right. And now that's been said. Right. Mayuri turned to me with a guilty look. Suzu, huh? No, Suzuha. Sorry, that was dumb. Suzuha Amane, also known as John Teeter, a time traveler from the year 2036. Also, I was not expecting this track to start up here. A true warrior who was still fighting even as I was trying my best to give up. I'd barely seen her since summer. I was avoiding her. Did you see what I just did? You don't need to apologize. Part of the reason I'd stopped going to the lab was that she spent all of her time there now. Until a month or so ago, just hearing Suzuha's name was enough to cause flashbacks, and it was all I could do to endure them. After 3 months, I could finally stand to hear her name. But I didn't think I could keep it together if I met her in person. Of course, it wasn't her fault, and I wasn't blaming her. So I didn't want her to blame me. She'd never come out and said she'd never come out and said it, but when she looked at me with that razor sharp glint in her eyes, I felt something like guilt.
あのね、みんな。
ん？
I don't remember this track. Man, this one's chill. I love it. Dude, I love the soundtrack in these games. It truly is the best part. It's true.
マユシーね、ダル君と一緒に考えてるオペレーションがあるんだ。
What is the operation name, Mayuri? It better have a name.
オペレーション？
It sounded like something the old me would have done.
っていうと、どんな作戦かにゃ？
Yeah, it's some of my favorite like game music in all of video games. Is
すずさんを笑顔にしよう大作戦。
oh, she's the best. Why was Mayuri talking about this out of the blue? No, maybe it wasn't out of the blue. She might have been thinking about it for a long time. Might have my ass. Best name. So I decided to respond as cheerfully as I could.
聞かせてくれよ、マユリ。
マユシーは思うんだ。すずさんって普段は怖いけど本当はすっごく優しい人なんじゃないかなって。ラボにいる時にね、
Overruled. I'm in
マ
charge
ユ
here.
シーがソファーでうとうとしちゃうといつの間にかタオルケットがかかってたりするの。すずさんに聞いてもそんなの知らないとしか言わないんだけど。
あ、僕もそういうことありました。
She's this. Oh my god, they're all the best. They're all the best. Everybody.
お父さんに買い物を頼まれて、その帰りに荷物が重くて困っていたんです。そうしたら天音さんが通りかかって何も言わずに持ってくださったんですよ。
へえ、初耳だな。
こんなこと当たり前だから誰にも言うなって。あ、言っちゃいましたけど。
そっか。
Oh, not this picture. No, this is the bad picture. We don't like this picture. This is the sad picture. Don't use this picture. No. No. No, stop it. In the Alpha World line, she was a cheerful girl who smiled at everyone and who loved to go mountain biking. Okay, because insane to PNG. Right! Don't use this one! This does not have a positive connotation! The Bill Murray picture! In this world line, she wasn't the type who smiled a lot. This was partially due to the way she'd grown up. I'd heard about it third hand from Daru, but because of the universal conscription program that started after World War III broke out, she'd been forced to undergo military training ever since she was in middle school. And after that, she joined up with the anti-government forces and gotten caught in a terrible struggle. After that, he said, she never really smiled.
だからね、すずさんを本当の笑顔にしたいのです。
Well, that's absolutely heart-shattering.
なるほどな。
で、具体的には何をするのかにゃ？クリスマスパーティーだよ。
クリスマスパーティー？
We all spoke in unison.
もうすぐクリスマスでしょ。すずさんね、そういうパーティーをやったことがないんだって。だからマユシーはすずさんにそれをプレゼントしようと思ってるんだ。
I mean, that makes sense. It's a pretty good one. Ferris and Luca nodded at almost the exact same time.
その話乗ったにゃ。
僕も。
ありがとう。
Also, I love that Ferris's like Zero outfit is literally just her maid outfit with like some extra chunks, some extra like poofy stuff. I love it. Oh my god, I love it so much.
オカリンも参加してくれる？
Warmth enhancers, right?
そうだな。
And the poofiest hood you've ever done seen.
ダメかな。
俺はともかく鈴葉が嫌がるんじゃないか。
That's fair. I was never going back to the past. I still couldn't forget the look on Suza's face when I told her that. It was an expression filled with anger and despair. She must have felt like her last, most desperate hope was crumbling away right in front of her eyes. The words she'd said to me when we were... The words she'd said to me then were still sharp thorns lodged in my heart. Oh, thanks for the follow.
俺を嫌ってるし。
I appreciate it. That's awesome. Thanks. I am now one more closer to that glorious number. This has been a glorious day. Thank you.
マユシーはそうは思わないよ。すずさんはね、オカリンを怒っちゃったこと後悔してるんじゃないかな。
That's fair. Well, and I think that first one happened when you were working on your thing. So.
その気持ちを素直に言えないんだと思うのです。
そうだろうか。
きっとそうだよ。
I couldn't turn her down after Mayuri said that.
わかった。少し考えてみるよ。
I think so.
ところで岡部さん、
There's a bit of hesitation in Luca's voice.
診察はどうでしたか？
Evidently, Luca had heard about my counseling from Mayuri. Maybe he'd wanted to see me because he was worried about how it went. I guess I'm making Lukako and Ferris worry too. In this world line, they hadn't joined the lab, but even so, they were still dear friends. Wait, what? What was that tip that showed up? Lab members. Official members of the Future Gadget Laboratory, and anyone who's been given this designation has free access to the lab. Lab members are given numbers in the order that they joined. I love it. Oh.
催眠療法というのは初体験だったが、なかなか興味深かったな。
That is something I want to try at least once. I'm gonna be completely honest. Hypnotherapy seems like something, you know, it's like one of those things you want to try at least once.
俺は今まで催眠術なんかにはかからないと思ってたよ。驚いた。
かかっちゃったんですか？
見事にな。
へえ。
そういうルカニャンも催眠術とかすぐにかかりそうだにゃ。
そんな。
確かに速攻でやられるだろうな。
It is so weird hearing him laugh like a normal laugh. It's sweet, but it's also like kind of heartbreaking. I'm not gonna lie. Luca would believe anything you told him. Anyway, there was no point in standing around forever. I also like how the narrative like it like switches between Luca and Lukako, which is I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, there was no point in standing around forever. I was getting hungry, and it was time to find some place to eat.
なあ、お前たち何が食べたい？おごるぞ。
Juicy chicken number 1. We decided to head toward Yodobashi. There were a lot of restaurants there, so it was perfect.
やったにゃ。超なじゃなくてオカリン太っ腹にゃん。
ありがとうございます。
Oh yeah, I heard about that. I oh, knock something over. I try not to do that. Yeah, I just bought it on Steam and then just played it. I actually have it on I was gonna play it on PlayStation, but I had so much fun playing it on my computer for the original one. I decided to buy it on Steam. So yeah, the main thing, yeah, there's like a lot of them. I was looking into it. I didn't play the versions of Chaos Child and Chaos Head I played on were the ones on Switch. So I ended up getting I think I mentioned this in the Steins Gate stream or one of them. But the thing, I believe the Committee of Zero Patches like make a lot of the translations more consistent, which is good, especially considering there's one reference that I'm trying to remember exactly how it. I think I mentioned it when it came up in Steins Gate, but there's a character who gets referenced in all three. Like, they get referenced in Chaos Head and Steins Gate, and then they actually show up in Robotics Notes. But in all three games, depending on which translation you're in, they have a completely different name, so you have no idea that it's actually them. It's infuriating. I think that's one of the, So, yeah, Sister Centipede. / Gejine / Big Sis Geji. Oh, dude, the Chaos Child. Don't even get me started on the Chaos Child. The, like, insane amount of typos. At least in the Switch version. I'm like, that was the version I played. Oh my god, it was so funny. I had to stop referencing it because of so constant. Ugh. Consistent. Great. Alright, anyways, Steins Gate 0. That's what I'm playing now. Off track again. There was a track? Remember when there was a track?
何食べようかな。唐揚げかな。
ジューシー唐揚げ？
マユシーはそればっかりにゃん。
No, I'm pretty sure that was all me. I'm pretty sure like 90% of the time we go off the rails, it's my fault. I mean, literally, I have all the control. I have all the power. So I guess it is quite literally all my fault. I walked behind the three of them, and I thought to myself, what would it be like if Kurisu was here? Don't do this, man. Don't do this. I tried my hardest for the past few months not to think about her, but was it because of my experience yesterday that I did anyway? The expressions and little mannerisms I'd seen yesterday. The voice, the way she walked? I remembered my conversation with her. I think that was supposed to say talked. Just... Otherwise, that makes no sense.
はじめまして、マキセクリスです。
Right, that's also true. Like, walking is one of the few things Amadeus quite literally cannot do. Like, unless you now I want to give Amadeus like the full-on Arnim Zola treatment. Give. Oh god. Now that's in my head. I'm just imagining fucking like the big Arnim Zola robot body with the tiny little camera on the top and fucking Amadeus cursing. Oh my god, that's so dumb. All right.
どうぞよろしく。
Couldn't respond at all. Something felt slightly off about the way Kurisu moved on the screen. But it was really slight. I'd get used to it soon. Just imagining all the Kurisu mannerisms, but with this giant like robot body. More importantly, the voice and the way she spoke were exactly like the real Kurisu. I almost cried, and it was all I could do to stop from breaking down.
先輩、そちらは深夜というわけではないですよね。
The camera on the PC switched from me to Maho.
ええ、違うけれどなぜ？
This is supposed to be serious. I gotta get off the fucking Arnim Zola topic.
お二人とももしかして眠いのではないかと。
Was she talking about the fact that I didn't respond to her introduction?
私はさっきまで寝ていたけれど、今はもうしゃっきり目が覚めているわ。
だらしないのは相変わらずですね。
失礼なことを言わないで。
では先輩、もう一つ質問しても？
ええ、何？
岡部倫太郎さんとは どういう関係ですか？
この前の ATF セミナーに参加してくれた学生よ。なかなか研究熱心だと思ったから連れてきたの。
Maho decided not to tell Amadeus that I was a friend of Kurisu before she died. Why, I wonder? Did she not want Amadeus to find out? Or was I supposed to tell her myself?
へえ、先輩にそう言われるなんて大したものですね。
The Kurisu on the screen turned to me and smiled.
その
Hi. Calm down.
岡部さん、専攻はやはり脳科学ですか？
それは
The words got stuck in my throat. I said calm down. You know this is just a program. Her words, her appearance, even the conversation she's having with you right now, they're all artificial. But even though I knew that, I still couldn't speak. I had no idea what to say. Well, I mean, you could answer her question. That's an easy one. And more than that, the words "nice to meet you" hit me harder than I thought they would. This wasn't the Kurisu I'd spent those 3 weeks with. Maho had told me this ahead of time, and I thought I'd understood it, but hearing it for myself hurt more than I imagined. I regretted not taking my anxiety meds, but it was too late now. My heart rate soared and my breathing became irregular. My head was spinning and the corners of my vision were beginning to dim. At some point, my lips had gone totally dry.
どうかしました？岡部さん。
Kurisu sounded worried. That voice software must be pretty good if it could handle nuances like that.
彼の専攻は脳科学ではないわ。
Yeah, it's great.
だけど私たちの研究にとても興味があるんですって。
そうなんですか。
レスキネン教授も気に入ってるみたいだし、いずれは私の助手にでもしてやろうかと思っているところよ。
Who's the assistant now, bitch? My head snapped up in surprise at Maho's bizarre statement. Me? Maho's assistant? And then I'd go to Victor Condria University?
あら、お気に召さない？
That is funny, yeah.
お気に召すとか召さないとかそういう問題じゃなくて。
ま、冗談だけれどね。
冗談？
もしかして本気にした？
Well, that's mean.
信じちゃいない。
I wasn't going to tell her that I almost did.
そう。でも、もっともっと勉強してくれれば、あながち冗談じゃなくなるかもしれないわよ。
仮にそうだとしても、レスキネン教授の助手がいい。
This was my way of getting back at her.
教授の助手って思っている以上に大変よ。あの方は本当に子供だから。
As she spoke, she quietly came over next to me and tapped me in the arm a few times. I think I'd rather be Dr. Leskinen's assistant. You just hear from the other room, nice! Can't get over how fucking... It's true. I see. So that was it. She was making a joke to try and calm me down. Holy cow!
悪かった。ありがとう。
何のことかしら？
I don't know why that... How? I don't know why that, like, the English of Leskinen is, like, the greatest... Like, that is the thing that will always set me off. Like, I need to try not to, because it's gonna derail every time, but it gets me every time. Like, even when it's not actually happening, when it's just implied that it could happen, it cracks me up, dude. Oh no! I didn't think subtlety was her thing. Maybe I was wrong?
先輩、ちょっと。
Kurisu beckoned to Maho from within the screen in a very human manner.
何？
もうちょっとこっち。スピーカーに寄ってください。
Maho moved her ear close to the speaker. I was just thinking about how weird it was when...
Huh?
Maho suddenly turned bright red and shouted at the screen.
そんなわけないでしょ。何を言ってるのあなた。
Alright, fine. Dude, I love these guys.
そんなに照れなくても。
照れてるわけじゃないわ。とにかくおかしなことを言うのはやめて。
I love these two so much. Mao and Kurisu are like, oh, they're great.
そうですか？
そうです。
一体何の話を？
It was obvious that Kurisu had whispered something to Maho. What did she say? Maho glanced at me. And for some reason, she blushed and turned away. Ah, I see. From the way Maho was acting, and what I knew about Kurisu, there was only one possibility.
このスイーツかっこ笑い目。
Oh, that's great. I whispered a name I'd often teased Kurisu with, and suddenly felt a lot better. She must have said something stupid like, "You two make a good couple," or "You finally found a man, huh?" The way she looked at a boy and girl holding a friendly conversation and immediately assumed they were dating was just like the Kurisu I knew. Sheesh, what a system. God. It didn't need to be that true to her personality, did it? I chuckled. Do you think this Kurisu also browses @channel when Maho and the professor aren't looking too? Nah, knowing her, she's probably commenting. I remember Kurisu once browsed @channel on the Future Gadget Laboratory's computer when she knew nobody else was around. Good old Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha.
入ってくるときはノックぐらいしてよ。
Oh my god, this song.
クリスティーナ、お前はやるべきことをさって何を見ていた？
I missed this.
おい、これはひどい。はいはい、ワロスワロスみたいな笑い方はなんだ？
Robo! Hold on, is this... give me a second. I think that might be going in the the pile of sound files. Like fucking Sans.
クリスティーナ。いや、アットチャンネラークリス。
その呼び方はやめて。
俺はすでに気づいていた。そう、とっくに気づいていたんだ。お前からアットチャンネラーとしての匂いのようなものがプンプンと醸し出されていた。
Spoilers, for the Undertale anime adaptation, Sans will be voiced by Mamoru Miyano. So I heard this from my dad works at I don't know, anime place. I ruined the joke. Anyways, anime.
失礼だな。ちゃんと毎日香りがきつくない香水つけてるぞ。
そういう意味ではない。俺が言っているのは魂レベルだ。だが隠そうとするとはいじらしいな。アットチャンネラークリス。
その名で呼ぶな。
I gleaned this information with my my own Esper power, whispered deliverance. Alright. Your soul's power level, huh? My silly remarks seem to have a much deeper meaning now. Was the girl in front of me one day going to, as Dr. Leskinen had said, become a real artificial soul? When that happens, what are we supposed to call a soul that it still existed in this world after the body was gone? Not dead or alive, but something in between. This wasn't science anymore. It was philosophy, or maybe religion.
バカな話はここまでにしましょう。岡部さんだってこんな中身のないことを聞きたくて来たわけではないわ。
そうやってごまかすところがますます怪しいですね。
ウイルスをぶち込むわよ。
嘘です。もう言いません。
Kurisu quickly bowed her head. I bet back when Kurisu was still alive, she had conversations like this with Maho every day. I'm sure Dr. Leskinen had a lot of fun watching them. It was actually kind of cute.
お騒がせしてごめんなさい、岡部さん。彼女と何か話してみる？
Oh,
Ah, man, I'm just thinking about that one that story of the two of them meeting again. That might be one of my favorites of those, like, of that chunk of that bunch of stories. Oh, it's so good. Maho offered me the seat in front of the PC. Kurisu's face was on the monitor right in front of me. Our eyes met. She smiled a little. I didn't know she reacted like this to people when she first met them. It's true. His first meeting with her, I believe he, well, depending on which version, he either said some crazy shit and confused the fuck out of her, or actively grabbed and like, poked her. So, not great first impressions all around. But my meeting with Kurisu went about as badly as it possibly could have. I realized that her prickly attitude towards me could have been unusual for her.
どんなことでも聞いてください。可能な範囲でお答えしますから。
そうだな。
That's true. This wasn't good. I was remembering every moment I'd ever spent with Kurisu. I couldn't think of what to say. And then the words that came out of my mouth were,
タイムマシンは作れるだろうか。
well, that was what I once argued about with Kurisu on another world line. In the end, I'd lost the argument completely. That was, yeah, that was the dunking. He just absolutely dunked on him. She, like, took him to the cleaners. That was one of my favorites. Right, yeah, like, it's understandable from his perspective. From her perspective, he was a fucking lunatic. Also, I love that interaction between, that he's referring to, where she's just absolutely shredding him in front of a crowd. That's the best thing ever.
はい？
え？
タイムマシーンですか？
何の話を始めるのかと思ったら、いきなり何？
ただのテストだよ。思考実験ができるかどうかっていう。
どうクリス？
そうですね。結論から言ってしまうとタイムマシンは可能ではない。けれど不可能とまでは言い切れないといったところでしょうか。
え？
That wasn't what she'd said.
最初に結論を言ってしまうと、タイムマシンなんていうのはバカらしい代物だということです。
That's what Kurisu had said in the Alpha World line. I remembered that well.
俺はタイムマシンなんてバカらしい代物だと思うけどな。
I remembered our old debate and decided to repeat what Kurisu had said then. I love this.
そう決めつけるのは早計ですよ。
そうかな。確かに世界中の科学者がタイムトラベル理論を提唱している。主な理論だけで11あるが、どれも仮説の域を出ない。しかも理論同士が矛盾し否定し合っているものまである。
ええ、
例えば宇宙紐理論やワームホール理論、これらは思考実験としてはタイムトラベルを可能にするが、そもそも宇宙紐だのエキゾチック物質だの、どこからどう探してくればいいのか見当もつかない。つまり現実的ではない。
This was also something that Kurisu had told me in the Alpha World line. But the Kurisu on the screen was unmoved.
それは科学者がまだ重大な何かを発見できていないからでしょうね。
それじゃあ君はタイムマシンをいつか作れると思っているのか？
不可能とまでは言い切れない、そう言いましたよ。
Yeah, her opinion was slightly different. Was this because I was in the Beta World line? Or perhaps...
なあ、ヒアジョーさん。彼女は自分がオリジナルの記憶から派生した存在だということは認識しているんだよな。
もちろん。
じゃあ、うまい例が思いつかないんだが、一卵性ソーセージみたいなことはあるのか？生まれた時は見分けがつかない。だが育つにつれて差異が出てくるとか、そういうことを。
それについてはまだ検証中だけれど、蓄積されていく記憶が異なれば当然元の人間とは違うものになっていくと思うわ。私と教授はそう考えている。
そっか。
Does make sense. It was then that I heard the door on the other side of the partition slam shut.
教授かしら？
あの大きな足音はそうじゃないでしょうか。
I could definitely hear somebody stomping around outside. And then after a heavy knock, the door to the booth flung open.
Rintaro!
Lintalo! Lintalo? The professor opened his arms wide as he came inside. He grabbed my hand and began to wave it around. I hadn't realized he was this friendly. He seemed to think he was giving me a handshake, but it felt like I was being worked over by a pro wrestler.
Hey boy, what's up?
Oh my god, stop! Oh my god. Yo! Hey boy, what's up? I will never get over the greatest description of the way this guy speaks. It was on a comment on that that really dumb video I showed. It was they said the comment was something along the lines of, I love how Leskinen's supposed to be. Holy video. No, we're not right now. Maybe at the end. Leskin, I love how Leskinen's supposed to be a native English speaker, but but he talks like Tommy Wiseau from The Room. Oh my god, it's great. No, I'll play it. I'll play it later. I'm gonna interrupt the whole thing. I mean, I kind of already have, but still, it's fine. Oh my god, it's the greatest description ever, and it's so true. I'm so cool, son of a bitch. Okay. Hey boy, what's up?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Okabe gets a pass because he doesn't speak English well. In a room together, the room even.
岡部さん、ひどい英語ですね。
黙れクリスティーナ。
クリスティーナ？
Well, shit. Oh no, I was so focused on the professor that I used my old nickname for her.
なんでもない。気にしないでくれ。
気になります。なんで私がクリスティーナなんですか？
There is no escape.
だから何でもないというのに。
何でもない割には動揺してますよね。
しつこいぞクリス
う
クリス。
ん
Karisu and Maho both seemed lost in thought.
クリスティーナって呼んでいたのね。
君もそこに食いつくな。
I didn't want any more questions about this. Since the professor was here, I decided to ask more about how Amadeus's memories worked.
教授、アマデウスの記憶を外部から改ざんすることは可能なんですか？
But the professor wasn't listening to my question. He seemed to be frantically searching his pockets for something. Come to think of it, I didn't see that translator device on his ear. He must have been looking for it, which meant odds were good he didn't even hear my question.
私の記憶の改ざんですか？理論上は可能です。
Karisu herself answered in the professor's place.
例えば、私が自分の名前をクリスティーナであると思い込み、そう仕向けることもできるでしょう。
She's really not gonna let that go.
ただ、普通のデータと違い、記憶データはとても複雑です。今のところ、改ざんに成功した例はないと認識しています。仮に改ざんに成功した場合でも、私がそれに気づいて自分で修復してしまうでしょう。
But what if your memories were modified in such a way that it made you think you didn't remember any successful attempts to modify your memories? Alright. Not a chance.
私は私以外アクセス不可の領域にログを取っていますから。つまり秘密の日記ですね。そ
That's
の
cute.
日記と現在の記憶との間に不自然な齟齬があれば、私は高い確率で疑問を抱きます。さらに言えば、私の記憶データは定期的にバックアップされています。自己修復が不能なほどに改ざんされたとしても復旧することが可能なんですよ。最終バックアップから改ざんされた時点までの記憶はなくなってしまいますが。
そっか。
Regardless of the topic of discussion, it felt strange. What Maho had said before she loaded Kurisu was true. I was starting to feel like I was chatting with the real Kurisu. That way she wouldn't let you get a word in edgewise when she started talking about science was exactly like the real Kurisu.
しかし興味深いな。
I turned toward Kurisu and spoke.
君は自分のことを機械として客観的に語ることができている。小説や漫画でよくあるパターンだと、自分は機械ではない人間だとか言い出しそうなものだが。
それは全くナンセンスですね。人間そのものが自分をハードウェアとソフトウェアの組み合わせとして語るじゃありませんか。医学とか心理学とかそういう名においてね。それとどこが違うんです？
なるほど。
さすがへりくつなら誰にも負けないわね、この子。
When she heard this, Kurisu turned toward Maho, her CG eyes big and round, though it was really just the camera sensor moving.
ねえ先輩、余計なお世話かもしれませんけど、口が悪いのを少し直した方がいいですよ。せっかく春が来そうなのに嫌われたらどうするんです？
God damn it.
だからその話に戻るのはやめなさい。
けど私にとっては今一番興味があります。
一番どうでもいいことでしょ、そんなの。
これが人生最後のチャンスだったらどうするんですか？
Oh my god.
あなたこそその口を改めなさい。
She's talking about her like she's like an old woman or something. She's fucking 21. Dr. Leskinen was clapping his hands together and laughing. I had to chuckle a little too. Afterwards, the three of us, including the professor, talked to Kurisu, discussing technical subjects and making small talk. The next thing I knew, it had been almost an hour. I actually felt a little sad when Maho told me that it was time to stop. In just a single hour, the strangeness I'd felt about Amadeus had disappeared, and I felt like I was really talking to Kurisu. Dr. Leskinen stopped me before I left.
テストをやる気はあるかな？
I tilted my head when I heard the professor speak through the translator.
エムテウスにはタイヤ散歩が少なくてね。うちの研究室の子たちを総動員してはいるのだけれどね。
とはいえアマデウスはまだ研究段階だし、誰彼構わず接触させるわけにもいかないわ。
そこでクリスの友人だったリンターロにぜひとも協力してほしいんだ。
I remembered they'd mentioned something about being a tester at the party, so this is what they were talking about.
私と教授はしばらく日本に滞在する予定なの。だからテスターをお願いするのはその間ということになるわね。あなたにしてもらいたいのはとにかくクリスと対話を重ねてもらうこと。具体的なノルマのようなものは特にないわ。気が向いたら話をするぐらいでいい。ただ月に2回程度は私と教授にテスト経過の報告をしてほしいの。
それと申し訳ないけれど報酬は出せないんだ。そこも含めて考えてみてほしい。
Have I booped Leskinen? I don't think I've given Leskinen a boop. You know what? I'll give him a boop. Boop. I don't think I booped Leskinen.
俺は
I definitely booped Maho, but I will give her a second. Boop.
亡くした友人をそっくりそのまま再現した AI と
Not today.
話をさせる。それは君にとってとても残酷なことだとは理解しているつもりだよ。乗り気でないのなら断ってくれていいからね。
I remembered what it had felt like to talk to Kurisu. When the monitor was just about to turn off, this is what Kurisu had said. Let's talk again sometime, Rintaro Okabe. That's what I'd hoped for when I came here, wasn't it?
やります。やらせてください。
Wow! Alright. I thought I was ready when I accepted the job, but I had never expected this. Oh. Speaking of. Hello.
はい。
マキセですけど。
She sounds thrilled. Kurisu was displayed on the screen. Yes, it was Amadeus. The app the professor had given me allowed me to access the servers at Victor Condria University from anywhere, 24 hours a day. Middle click to activate the phone. Really? I did not know that. I know in the other one it was like Z on the keyboard.
クリスの方からあなたに呼びかけてくることもあるから、その時はうまく対応して。
I will keep that in mind, thank you. This I hadn't predicted. I'd never thought she would call me, or that her face would be displayed on the screen.
それとも、クリスティーナですけどって自己紹介した方が良かったですか？
Oh man, she's pissed. She looked really mad. I could guess why. I had gotten eight calls from Kurisu, and I had ignored them all.
事情はレスキネン教授や先輩から聞いています。だから最初に一言こちらから挨拶しようと思っていたんですが、まさか8回もイルスを使われるとは思いませんでした。なんで黙ってるんですか？
Talking to a realistic girl on my smartphone with so many people around was pretty embarrassing.
ま、話す気がないならそれはそれでいいんですが。
That is pretty awkward.
なんなのよ。せっかくいつも以上に人と話せるチャンスだと思ってたのに、バカみたいじゃない。たく。
No.
いずれにせよ、テスト中は私はあなたといつでもつながっていますから。気が向いたら どうぞ連絡してきてください。こっちも忙しいので、あなたの連絡にいつも出れるかどうかわかりませんけど。
Man, what is this? More than that strangely polite, friendly Kurisu from yesterday. Angry, stubborn, more curious than anyone. The way she seemed to be constantly challenging you.
それではお邪魔しました。
I realized that this really was Kurisu Makise. That was the girl I'd spent those 3 weeks with, lab member 004, my assistant, Christina, aka Kurisu Makise. Her movements were a little more jerky than I'd seen on the computer in Dr. Leskinen's office, but evidently that was because of the smartphone.
俺は
Your phone ain't powerful enough for Amadeus. This alone was enough to make me feel like my heart was being squeezed dry. I stood still, holding the smartphone tight.
じゃなかった。オカリン、どうしたにゃ？
Oh my god, it's so weird. It's so weird. That's extra weird.
ああ、今行く。
I thought to myself as I ran to catch up with the others. Maybe Dr. Leskinen was right, and this test would be a very cruel thing for me. But even so, in my mind, I was already starting to think about what I would talk about with Kurisu. Alright. Fair enough. Have a good night. Maho Hyajo was remembering. She was remembering the last night she'd spoken to Kurisu Makise in person. That night, Kurisu was whispering to herself a lot. Victor Condré University's Brain Science Institute. Maho and Kurisu worked in the same room at the lab. Thus, Maho was forced to hear Kurisu's angry mumblings whether she wanted to or not. A little was fine, but she'd been acting like this all day, and it was keeping Maho from concentrating. She finally snapped and turned away from the paper she was writing.
ねえ、ちょっとクリス？
English was the language most commonly used at Victor Condré University. When the other staff and professors were around, she'd always use English, but when it was just her and Kurisu, Maho would often speak in Japanese.
いい加減にしてくれないかしら。
え？ああ、何がです？
Kurisu stopped messing with her luggage and turned around.
うるさくて集中できないのよ。この論文、明日までに教授に提出しないといけないんだけど。
もしかして私独り言言ってました？
騒音郊外で訴えてあげようかしら。
すみません。
Kurisu apologized and started to scratch the back of her head. Maho decided to calm down by standing up and going to the shelf where the research notes were kept. There were several books she needed for her paper, but they were all up on the top shelf. Oh boy. This must be someone's idea of a prank, she'd said as she stared up at a heavy book. She decided to try and reach for it, but no matter how she stood on her toes, she came nowhere close. Her tiny little arms seemed to her like dead branches waving in the wind. She bit her lip. After she'd skipped grades to go to college, then come to work at this lab, she'd had more chances than ever before to hate her small stature. Whenever she walked outside after dark, the cops would stop her. Even with her ID, she couldn't get into bars, and buying medicine and alcohol at drugstores was a pain. The most humiliating part was no matter where she went, everyone thought she was in middle school. Nobody believed her when she said she was 20. Everything in America was just too big.
撮りましょうか？
Kurisu noticed the trouble Maho was having and came over. But Maho was stubborn and decided to pretend nothing was wrong. Pride.
大丈夫よ。別に困ってなんかいないもの。
困ってるじゃないですか。
困ってません。
そうですか。
そうです。
でも私も借りていきたい本があるので。
Kurisu easily reached up to the highest shelf and grabbed the book Maho wanted.
背が高い人はいいわね。
いえ、私もそれほど高い方では。
Kurisu covered her mouth when she realized she'd said something she shouldn't have.
ありがとう。助かったわ。日本で何か必要なものがあったら言ってね。送ってあげるから。
はい、ありがとうございます。
Oh my god, I love these two. I love these two! Kurisu handed over the book as she spoke. And then suddenly, her eyes went wide and began to sparkle.
ねえ先輩、今の話ですけど。
今の話ってどの話？
独り言ですよ。
え？おー。
It looked like Kurisu had come up with a new idea. This was a regular occurrence for Kurisu, and Maho was used to it.
それって自我の証明の一つになるんじゃないでしょうか。
アマデウスの？
はい。
確かにあの子がいきなり独り言を言い出したらびっくりするけれど。
No matter how advanced an AI was, it wouldn't talk to itself unless you programmed it to do that. And there was no need or even a point to a feature like that. If an AI started talking to itself, that might be a good indication that there was a self to talk to. But Maho hesitated to agree with her.
ここではめったなことを口にするものではないわ。魂は神が人間に与えたもうたものである。そう考える人たちが多いことを忘れないで。
そうでしたね。
Kurisu's expression dimmed. Kurisu and Maho were both treated as heretics in the lab, especially since they were Japanese and women. And Kurisu was simply too talented. Nobody ever actually did anything, but a lot of the older scientists were definitely avoiding her. Dr. Leskinen was the chief scientist, and the fact that he liked the two of them was all that let them do their research in peace. If the other scientists heard what Kurisu had just said, who knows what they'd do. Maho patted Kurisu on the shoulder.
ま、しばらく日本でリフレッシュしてくることね。
それが納得いきません。
どうして？向こうの生活だって楽しいと思うけれど。
留学するなら大学院ですよ。なんで高校なんですか？
仕方ないでしょ。日本では年齢的にあなたはまだ高校生なんだから。教授の思いやりは素直に受けておきなさいな。
Maho remembered what Dr. Leskinen had said. Kurisu has a fragile personality. All the bickering in the lab is putting her under a lot of stress, and she's at her limit. It might ruin her as a researcher. That's what the professor had said. He was really worried about her.
それに、もともと7月になれば日本に行かなくちゃいけなかったんだから、ちょうどいいじゃない。
はい。実はそれも憂鬱で。
秋葉原テクノフォーラムだったかしら？
公園なんて慣れてないし、何をどうしていいのか。
サイエンス誌に論文が載った以上、これからもどんどん増えるわよ。練習しておかないとね。
やだな。
Risu whispered to herself. Maho didn't like being around lots of other people either, so she knew how Kurisu felt. But there were a lot of scientists who wanted to be published in a major journal, then go on to give public lectures. And she'd beaten out many of them to win that honor. People were jealous. She needed to fulfill her responsibilities, even if just to shut them up. Maybe I'm not that much better, though. Maho silently laughed a little and hated herself for doing it. It's weird that the third person, first person. Maybe I feel like this also should have been in quotation marks. I don't know. Maybe I'm just as jealous as they are. That feeling, which was always a little like fear, was something she always felt. The girl in front of her was just that different from Maho. Someone she could never reach, no matter how hard she tried. Someone who'd surpassed everything she'd ever done almost instantly.
先輩
Risu was peering into her face, confused. Maho felt flustered. Flattered is not the correct word. Flustered is the word that's written here. I can read.
日本でお父さんには会うの？
She'd heard that Kurisu's parents weren't divorced, but that they were separated. Her mom was still in America, and her dad was in Japan. After Maho said it, she'd wondered if that too was was too personal a question. Kurisu smiled a little.
実は父から招待状が届いたんですよ。
へえ。
夏頃新しい理論の発表会をするそうです。それを見に行こうかと思ってます。
新しい理論って？
Risu's smile changed into a small expression of consternation. I've seen that word. I can't remember exactly what that word means. Google time. Consternation. Feelings of anxiety or dismay, typically at something unexpected. Right.
Mada 詳しく聞いてないんですよね。相対性理論に関することらしいんですけど。
Maho felt like she was hiding something, but didn't question her anymore.
とにかく気をつけて行ってくることね。お土産期待しているから。
何がいいですか？
And me stuff.
そうね。せっかく秋葉原に行くのだから、何か珍しいものがいいわ。秋葉原詳しいのよね。
なんでです？
休憩時間によくそういうサイト見てるじゃない。
まさかアマデウスが喋ったんですか？
あの子はそんなことしないわ。あなた、私が後ろにいるのに動画に夢中になってて気づかないことがあるわよ。は
あ、まさかバレていたなんて。
自分の格差が憎い。Kurisu actually seemed upset for once. This really surprised Maho.
先輩、お願いです。どうか他の人たちには内密に。
別に隠すことはないと思うけれど。
The idea of sharing a secret with Kurisu made Maho happy.
わかった。言わないでおくわ。
助かります。
Kurisu seemed genuinely relieved. Maho continued.
ねえ。あなたが日本から戻ってきたら、アマデウスが独り言をつぶやけるかどうか、二人で検証してみましょう。はい。
Kurisu had a very happy look on her face. It was the face of a born scientist who loved to explore the unknown more than anything in the world. Her smile was as innocent as that of a child who'd just been given a new toy. It was very beautiful. And it was one of the reasons that Maho liked the younger researcher quite a bit. But the promise the two of them made would never be fulfilled. In fact, they would never even meet again. It felt like she was thinking about Kurisu more and more since she'd come to Japan. Maho didn't know if it was because she was in Japan or because she was talking with Amadeus, Kurisu, more often. Or maybe, was it because she'd met the young man named Rintaro Okabe?
私の知らないクリスを知っている人か。
Thinking back, the first day they'd met, she'd broken down and cried right in front of him. It was something she didn't really want to remember. She chased the memories away out of embarrassment.
さては岡部さんのことを考えていましたね。
She snapped her head towards the PC monitor. Maho was in the middle of a conversation with Kurisu.
そうね。
She shrugged her shoulders and tried to ignore Kurisu's mischievous smile.
不思議だと思わない？レスキネン教授が岡部さんのことをあそこまで買っているなんて。2度しか会ったことのない相手なのに、あなたのアクセス権も渡してしまったし、あそこまで信用していいのかしら。
誠実そうな人でしたが。
そう？向上心があるのかないのか、少しつかみどころがない人だったわ。
好きなんですか？
あなたね。
Maho brought her face close to the monitor and glared, but Kurisu seemed unconcerned.
別に取り繕う必要はないでしょ。昨日は本人の目の前だったから仕方ないにしても、今は私たち二人きりですし。
Kurisu may not have looked like someone who would, but she really enjoyed this sort of gossip. Maybe girl talk was the right word. That's 2 words. Maho sighed and sat back in her chair. The creaking sound echoed throughout the empty office.
本当にそんな感情はないわ。岡部さんがどんな人なのかさえまだよく分かっていないのだから。
I mean, it's fair. They've met. They barely just met. Like, calm down, Kurisu, please.
なるほど。まあそうでしょうね。
Kurisu let the matter drop. This bothered Maho a little.
ただ気になるのは。
何です？
いえ、なんでもないわ。
Maho had been spending a lot of time thinking about something since yesterday, to the point where she'd even put off her research. What kind of relationship was there between Kurisu and Okabe? What was Kurisu feeling in the days before she died? She would have liked to ask Okabe if she could.
先輩、私のオリジナルと岡部さんは知り合いだったんですか？
Maho shivered. It was as if Kurisu had been reading her mind.
どうしてわかったの？
岡部さんの話や先輩の反応などを聞いて判断しました。状況証拠を積み上げただけですが、証明しましょうか？
別にいいわ。あなたのことだから反証の余地もないでしょ。
The way they used words like proof in normal conversation showed that both Maho and Kurisu were scientists at heart.
相手だけが一方的に私との記憶を持っているのでは、対話に齟齬が出てしまう可能性が高いです。
彼と話していく上でどうするのかはあなたに任せる。
I mean, to be fair, proof isn't really a science word, that's more of a math word, but still.
岡部さんの方から切り出してくるかもしれないし、なんならあなたから聞いてみてもいいわ。
Maho still didn't know if Okabe would even access Amadeus at all. They weren't forcing him to.
知らないふりをするというのは嘘をついているのと同じことになりますよね。興味深いデータが取れそうな気がします。
Yes, it was interesting. But that was her opinion as a researcher working on Amadeus. How would Rintaro Okabe feel about it? Wouldn't this be rubbing salt on the wounds in his heart? Maho realized she was getting much too sentimental.
やっぱり日本に来たせいなのかもしれないわね。
It had been a week since she'd arrived. The first thing she'd planned to do was offer flowers. But she still couldn't bring herself to visit the Akihabara radio building, the place where Kurisu had died. The sun was setting earlier now that December had arrived. Katsumi Nakase was surprised by how quickly it had gotten dark while she was out rummaging through the cosplay shops. The wheeled suitcase on the ground next to her felt heavy. She had done her best to jam everything she'd bought today inside, and it was bursting at the seams. Still, spending a whole day shopping with her cosplay friends was a lot of fun. She felt tired, but it was a good tired. Her footsteps were light as she walked back to the station.
ふぶきちゃん、スキップしちゃいそうだね。あ、わかる？だって今日はいっぱい買い物できて超楽しかったもん。満足満足。ふぶきちゃんのおかげでマユシーも楽しくお買い物できたよ。付き合ってくれてありがとう。マユシーのためならお茶の子さいさいだって。
Fubuki tried to grab her friend, Mayuri Shina, for a hug. Mayuri dodged out of the way. Mayuri may have looked like an airhead, but she was actually quite athletic. So I've heard. Fubuki, by the way, was Katsumi Nakase's cosplay name. Oh, that was weird. Katsumi was in her second year of high school. She and Mayuri were the same age, but were total opposites. Katsumi was boyish and athletic, when she cosplayed as a male character, she attracted more female kamiko than male ones. What? Pardon? Kameko. Those who appear en masse at cosplay and anime events and use expensive SLR cameras to take pictures of scantily clad cosplayers. The so-called low anglers, men who take upskirt pictures of cosplayers in Akihabara and at Kamima, are not considered true kameko. A true kameko must be a gentleman at all times. But of course, that's really funny. Dude, I love Fubuki. She reminds me of Chie, just in design-wise. The four friends had gone to cosplay shops along Yugawaya, Maiden's Road, and Tokyo Hands in Ikebukuro, then moved to Akihabara and visited several more. This was all part of their final preparations for Winter Kamima.
そうは言っても衣装を作るのはほとんどまゆりちゃんだよ。あんまり無理しないでね、まゆりちゃん。
Kaede sounded a little worried. Her real name was Kaede Kurushima, and she used her real name as her cosplay pseudonym. She was 3 years... Oh my god. She was 3 years older than Katsumi and in college. Kaede was extremely feminine, and her measurements were just like the ones magazine models claimed to have. But she was very shy. I like how magazine models claim to have. People had tried many times to persuade her to enter the pageant at her college, but she'd always refused, saying normal events are kind of scary. That's pretty funny. But even so, cosplaying at Kamima with the rest of them was something she looked forward to.
だったらこの際だからまゆりちゃんを手伝ってみんなで衣装作りはしない？
Amayuki proposed. She had very noble, elegant features, but the rest of her was easygoing and laid back. Though Katsumi was a fellow girl, she still thought Amayuki was beautiful. Even her light blue penetrating eyes lacked the arrogance that beautiful women usually possessed. They were filled instead with a friendly light. Her real name was Yuki Amane. She was a senior at Meiji University, and in the same club as Kaede. She was the oldest of the four. Okay. Alright, let me take a gander at this. Oh god. I forgot buttons. Thank you. I appreciate it. Here, I'll throw this up here for just a moment. If I remember how. I probably won't remember how. My poor brain is not braining. Let me close that so I don't freaking dox myself. None of that, thank you. I gotta be careful when I'm throwing up my actual screen. Also, I go ahead and turn down. Oh god, there's so many things to keep track of. Son of a bitch. Also, why can't I just bring up the volume mixer? Okay. Turn it down. Are you gonna play this little number?
ではマユリにくれてやろう。
Creature of metal.
いいのオカリン。
ほーい、今日まだ。
ありがとうオカリン。
Beautiful. Thank you. All right. Nice little diversion. Let me turn the sound back on. There we go. She'd once tried to give up cosplay and focus on job hunting. After just 6 months, she'd given up on work and gone back to costuming. Since then, she'd been spending more time with Katsumi and the others. Good night. Good night, Tri-State Area. What is that from? Oh man, that's gonna drive me nuts. Goodbye and good night, Tri-State Area. Like 2 minutes to midnight. That's a fair reason to leave. Have a wonderful night. The both of you. Phineas and Ferb, thank you. That was gonna drive me nuts. Thank you. Yes. All right. Good night to the both of you. Have a wonderful night.
そんなお手伝いしてもらうなんて悪いよ。
Everyone smiled at her, but Mayuri quickly shook her head.
今日だって材料代を半分以上も肩代わりしてもらっちゃったでしょ。マユシーはそれだけで本当に嬉しかったから。
That is interesting. I wonder what it is. Wonder what it is about my my being that.
私たちの衣装を作ってくれるんだから出さない方が申し訳ないよ。それに私、まゆりちゃんみたいに素敵な衣装を自分でも作ってみたいなってずっと思ってたの。うんうん、まゆしーの衣装ってクオリティ高いもんね。ほんと感謝してるんだから。
Voice drama about Yuki. I still have not gotten around to listening to any of the voice dramas. I need to. I need to do that. I keep not doing it. They seem really interesting.
ね、まゆりちゃん、ぜひ手伝わせてほしいな。じゃあみんなで作ろう。
Becomes an idol. What? That's such a funny concept. I love it. Wow, I really need to listen to these. Jesus Christ. Katsumi knew that it made Mayuri really happy when someone praised her cosplay outfits.
あ、でもそれとは別にね、まゆしーはみんなにお願いしたいことがあったのです。お願い？実は
Mayuri told them about an event that had quickly become a mainstay of the Japanese holiday year.
クリスマスパーティーを開くから、ゆきさんも楓さんもふぶきちゃんもぜひ来てほしいなって。クリスマスパーティーか。うん、どうかな。私行きたい行きたい行きたい。
Katsumi's only plan for Christmas Eve was dinner with her family, so she raised her hand instantly. None of her friends at school wanted to do anything that night. She'd been a little put out about that, since it meant they all had boyfriends.
私も
Is that what
大丈
that
夫だよ
means? Apparently that's what that means. Kaede also nodded, but Yuki seemed a little hesitant.
私はどうしようかな。もしかして戦略があるの？
Dude, I love Yuki's hat. Love the hat. The fucking, like, beret ass hat.
そりゃユキさんほどの美貌の持ち主ならイブのデートに誘ってくる男子は山ほどいるでしょう。そんなことないよ。そうなの？だったら私がほっときません。吹雪ちゃんとクリスマスにデートできるなら他のどんな予定よりも優先しちゃう。
Oh.
ユキさんラボー。吹雪ちゃんはまゆりちゃん一筋じゃなかったの？まゆしーだって楓ちゃんだって大好きだぜ。
Katsumi quickly jumped over to Kaede and gave her a big hug. Kaede was soft and smelled good, and enduring this sort of sexual harassment was nothing new for her. Oh my lord.
それでね、ユキさん、今度まゆしーに美味しいキッシュの作り方を教えてくれないかな。
Yuki was an excellent chef and had been teaching Mayuri a lot lately. Both Katsumi and Kaede would also occasionally participate in what they called Yuki Amane's cooking lessons. Now I'm just thinking about fucking Mayuri with the knives. She did not learn that from Yuki, I assume.
何のキッシュがいい？ね、まゆしーはほうれん草とマッシュルームがいいな。ハムとトマトとベーコンも美味しいよ。
That's the one.
はあ、想像しただけでよだれが。わあ、そっか、迷っちゃうのです。それじゃあ両方教えてあげる。
Kaede, you had me at bacon.
本当？そうだよね。いろんな味があった方がみんなも喜ぶもんね。もしかしてクリスマスパーティー用に？うん、そうなのです。あと1ヶ月もないけど、それまでにマスターしたいなーって。じゃあ特訓だね。いつにする？明日は？まゆしーは大丈夫。
Katsumi went over her schedule in her head.
あー、明日か。私、友達と約束が。私はバイト。
Katsumi really wanted to go, so she was pretty disappointed. She would have loved the chance to eat one of Yuki's good quiches. As she thought about the quiche, her stomach began to rumble. It was about time for dinner. Yuki and Mayuri worked out the time and place for their meetup.
場所は私の下宿先だとちょっと遠いから。ラボはどうかな？うん、いいよ。頑張って作り方覚えるぞ。楽しいパーティーになるといいね。まゆし、サンタさんの衣装を作るからみんな着てくれる？込み物分の他にさらに作るんだ。まゆりちゃん、気合入ってるね。まゆしはやる気満々だよ。ふむ
Oh my god, that's going in the pile. She's pumped. Mayuri posed like she was cheering.
サンタ服なら可愛いミニスカ 白のニースに赤いブーツとか合わせて。
楓ちゃんはいいけど、私そういうの似合うかな。
Katsumi spoke to Mayuri and Yuki without any confidence in her voice.
本当は可愛い服の方が好きなくせに。
There was nothing Katsumi could say. She was right. It bothered Katsumi a lot that she looked like a boy, and she knew that sort of clothing didn't look right on her. Still, at heart, she was a young girl, and she wanted to wear cute clothes.
任せて任せて。まゆし、ふぶきちゃんに似合うのちゃんと作るから。
おお、さすが俺の嫁。結婚して。
ふぶきちゃん、調子いいんだから。ダルくんみたいなこと言っちゃダメだよ。
あの変態紳士さんと一緒にされるなんてショックかも。
ちなみにまゆりちゃんも一緒に着るんだよね、サンタさんの衣装。じゃなくて、可愛いんだからもっとコスしようよ。でもまゆしは作るの専門だから。
意義あり。そんなのもったいないです。
もう、ふぶきちゃんまで。
Take that.
それに岡部さんもまゆりちゃんの素敵な姿見たいんじゃないかな。オカリン？
Mayuri made a weird noise as soon as she heard that name.
オカリンさん？ああ、マユシーの彼氏ね。
Oh god, dude, seeing him like that breaks my fucking heart. He does rock that suit though, I'm not gonna lie. Katsumi had met him many times. He was tall, but always looked pale and thin, and whenever he laughed, he seemed kind of sad. But from what Mayuri said, until just half a year ago, he'd been a totally different person. She said he was haughty and arrogant, but also kind and a great leader. Mayuri was known to let her emotions influence her judgment, so Katsumi didn't know how much of that description was accurate. Dude, Mayuri makes the funniest noises. Mayuri started to freak out even more after hearing the word boyfriend.
あのね、ふぶきちゃん。オカリンとまゆしはそういうのじゃないよ。またまた。
Yuki and Kaede weren't buying it either. Honestly, Ocarina and Mayuri seemed more like an old wedded couple that had been together for years than boyfriend and girlfriend.
本当だよ。だってオカリンには他に好きな人がいるのです。
Mayuri sounded totally unconcerned, which made Katsumi even more surprised.
そうなの？本当に？
Who could have guessed? It was Yuki, the eldest, who spoke first.
ごめんね。なんか余計なこと言っちゃった。まゆしーとオカリンは幼なじみで仲良しさんっていうだけだから大丈夫だよ。そう。
Mayuri's smile seemed very sad to Katsumi. She felt the sudden impulse to give her schoolmate a hug.
それより
As if she wasn't doing that already. Mayuri smiled and walked over to Yuki, as if to blow away the awkwardness.
ねえ、ゆきさんは？私？さっきの話、やっぱりクリスマスは彼氏さんと過ごすのかなーって。本当にいないってば。そう？ みんな誤解してるよ。私そんなにモテないし、ここだけの話、年齢と彼氏いない歴が一緒だもの。
First Mayuri and then Yuki. Katsumi was stunned.
そうなんですか。そこまで驚かれるなんて。じゃあゆきさん、
Mayuri started to fidget.
ダルくんなんてどうかな。橋田さん？何を言い出すの、まゆし。橋田さんは変態紳士なんだよ。ゆきさんがどこかにかけられちゃう。
The man that Katsumi and Kaede were insulting was Itaru Hashida, a college student and a member of Mayuri's club. He was a hardcore otaku, one of the hybrid types, who said he enjoyed both 2- and 3-dimensional girls. Oh my god. What the Oh my lord, that's... Oh, this should be illegal. And like Katsumi had said, he was a perverted gentleman. He would say perverse things all day without the slightest shame. Whenever you told him he was a pervert, he would say, "No, I'm a perverted gentleman." He was a dangerous guy. And his outfit sucks. I can't stand the fucking overall. It's so dumb. But Yuki didn't seem bothered. She actually looked a little sad.
橋田さんはいい人だけど、なんていうか、私みたいな子、あんまり好きじゃないんだと思う。
Mayuri was shocked far and above her usual limit. She was so surprised, she let go of her suitcase handle and let it fall to the ground, and instead of picking it up, she started talking frantically.
そんなことないよ。ダルくんはね、ユキさんに萌えキューンだよ。きっとそうだよ。マユシーが保証します。夏コミまで初めて会った時もそんな感じだったでしょ。
Yuki had met Mayuri 4 months ago at Summer Kamima. Katsumi and Kaede had come wearing outfits Mayuri made. Kaede found Yuki at the convention hall all by herself and they met up. Afterward, they'd all gone to a party where she'd met Mayuri's friend Itaru Hashida. Katsumi had definitely witnessed Yuki and Itaru having a friendly conversation. Ever since then, Yuki and Mayuri and Daru had become friends, and Yuki had started going to Mayuri's club, the Future Gadget Laboratory. Gotta find someone you moi kyun for. Oh, that's the dream, right? Like one day, I need to. I am still looking for my own moi kyun. One day. One day. In other words, Yuki and Itaru had been talking ever since Summer Kamima, but still, Yuki chuckled sadly and shook her head.
見てればわかるよ。なんとなく避けられてるなって。クリスマスパーティーも、だから私は行かない方がいいんじゃないかなって思って。橋田さんはもっとこう妹系の女の子がタイプじゃないのかな。しかもものすごく気が強くてね、お兄ちゃんを尻に敷いちゃうような妹。例えば鈴葉さんみたいな感じ。
I was about to say, whoever could she be referring to?
それは
My For some reason, Mayuri looked like she was about to cry. She seemed to want to say something, but couldn't bring herself to. Her lips were quivering.
まゆりちゃん？ なんでもないのです。
You got a spoiler warning real life. But it certainly didn't look like nothing. Katsumi couldn't bear to watch her anymore. And so she gave in to her impulses.
マユシー、そんな顔しないで。マユシーは笑ってる時が一番可愛いんだから。あね、ほらほら、笑わないとくすぐっちゃうぞ。こちょこちょこちょこちょこちょ。
Dude, I love the sound. The tickle sound. It's so funny. Katsumi snuck behind Mayuri and started to tickle her under her arms. Oh my lord.
観念した？もう、ふぶきちゃんは意地悪さんだ。マヨシーかわいすぎ。
Oh my lord. Fubuki, no! Don't do this! Mayuri was laughing so hard she was crying, and this time, Katsumi succeeded in giving her a hug. Even though they were in public, she started rubbing her cheek against her. God,
マユシー。
Stop this!
好きだよ。大好き。
Cease this behavior, Fubuki, I beg of you.
ちょっと、ふぶきちゃん。このまま家に持って帰って、ずっとペロペロしたい。
I have to go now.
それは困るよ。困ってもいいから結婚してくれ。無理だってば。
Mayuri tried to run away, but Fubuki grabbed her and started to kiss her all over. Oh my lord.
なんか疲れた。それはマユシーのセリフだよ。
In the end, Katsumi kept clinging to Mayuri until they reached the station. She felt a lot better, but catching Mayuri when she tried to escape used up a lot of energy. Either way, now that she was satisfied... Well, there goes the mood. Oh shit. She shuddered and turned back towards Mayuri as an image came into her mind from out of nowhere.
ねえ、マユシ。なーに？冬コミマ、一緒にコスしようね。
Dude, this track is sinister.
この前話したよ。冬コミマはね、マユシーは作る方に専念します。それでもいいからさ、とにかく冬コミマもこの4人で絶対一緒に参加しようね。当たり前だよ。そのために今日みんなで買い物したんだよ。だよね。でも約束だよ。約束。
Oh my god, it's so... Oh. Gives me like goosebumps. Ah! Mayuri and Yuki split up with them in front of the station since they were taking a different train.
それじゃあね。おやすみなさい。まゆりちゃん、ゆきさん。またね。てってるー。バイバイ。
Katsumi stood still and watched the two of them until they were out of sight. She felt like she was about to cry and looked up to stop the tears from falling.
ふぶきちゃん。
Kaede was standing next to her, looking worried. What I was about to say.
どうしたの？ごめん、なんでもない。なんでもなくないよ。 もしかしてまゆりちゃんがどうかしたの？お願い話して。
And after Kaede asked, Katsumi wasn't sure what she should tell her. Wasn't sure she should tell her. I swear I can read. There was no way she'd believe it anyway.
今日の吹雪ちゃんいつもよりテンション高かった。すごく無理してる感じがしたもの。
気づいてたんだ。
気づくよ。
Katsumi and Kaede had known each other for 2 years. Since their ages were so different, they treated each other like an older and younger sister. So at times like this, Kaede was really sharp. Kaede didn't talk much, but that meant she paid a lot of attention to the people around her. Part of it was also that Katsumi wasn't good at hiding things, so she couldn't just she just couldn't lie to Kaede no matter what. She gave up and decided to say it.
マユシーがね。
うん。
死んじゃうんだ。
何？どういうこと？
Katsumi remembered the nightmares and the things she had kept seeing no matter how much she didn't want to.
夢を見るんだよ。
夢？
夏ぐらいからかな。毎日夢の中でマユシーが死んで、その度に私や楓ちゃんは泣いて。でもどうすることもできなくて。夕べ見た夢なんか最悪だった。
Stop!
私たちの目の前で突然マユシーが倒れて動かなくなっちゃうの。そのマユシーをね、オカリンさんが悲鳴を上げながら抱きしめて大きな声で叫んでて、ねえどうしちゃったんだろう私。なんでこんな夢ばっかり。
落ち着いて吹雪ちゃん。多分疲れてるせいよ。
そうかな。そうなのかな。
だってまゆりちゃん今日もすごく元気だったでしょ。
Kaede gave Katsumi a gentle shoulder hug.
だから大丈夫。
私やだよ。マユシーが死んだりしたら。
そんなことありえないわ。絶対に。
絶対に。
絶対よ。
Kaede's words made Katsumi calm down a little. She was glad to have an older friend like this.
とにかく気のせいよ。そんな悪いこと起きるはずがないでしょ。
It definitely couldn't happen over and 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 over again. Surely not. Her hand squeezed Katsumi's shoulder tightly. Being held like this made Katsumi feel a lot better.
ごめんね。変なこと言って。
But that night, she had the nightmares again. Alright, I'm gonna take this moment. I need to go to the bathroom. So, I'll be back in just a moment. If I remember how to do this. Have return it. Suzuha Amane was about to run out of patience. The cause was the young man in the room with her, her father. Itaru Hashida, aka Daru. His massively obese body was leaning forward over a computer monitor, and he had a dopey grin on his face. He'd finally gotten up around 11 a.m., gulped down 3 cups of instant ramen, and now was surfing the internet.
なんですとリア充メッセピーとパルテノン氏って夫婦だったん？何それ聞いてねえし。つうか、リア充メッセとか名乗ってる本人がリア充じゃん。リアルに嫁いるとか、汚すぎる。ぐぬぬぬぬ。ぼっちの味方だと思ってたのに。
Hold on, I gotta learn about these two. Parthenon, a female freelance illustrator. Fictional. She's not real. She primarily does illustrations for Nico Nia video and Vocalo songs, and is mostly popular with young women. Normies Must Die beat. A Vocalo producer. Excuse me. 2 of his videos have exceeded over 1 million views, popular for the unique worlds he builds with his lyrics. As his name suggests, many of his songs criticize normies, or criticize himself for not having any friends. His songs are a source of support for viewers in similar dire straits. His songs always feature images by the same illustrator, Parthenon, and her cute illustrations are another source of popularity. Disgusting. Betrayal.
こんなん戦争だろ。炎上必至だろ。うおと思ったら、もうアットちゃんもツイポも炎上してた件について。僕としたことが出遅れた。これまでの流れをちゃんとチェックしないと。
父さん。
Like that timeline on fire!
はい。
That's what Suzuha called her father. It's who he was, after all, so there was nothing else to call him. Suzuha was a time traveler from the year 2036, and 7 years from now, he would become her father.
いい加減にしなよ。一日中ゴロゴロして食べるかネットを見るかゲームをしてるかばっかり。即席麺やお菓子ばかり食べてると体に病変を生じるって警告しても治そうともしない。
In fact, his PC desk was covered with snacks. She cleaned it regularly, but it never seemed to make a difference.
運動だってしろって言ってるのに全然しない。
Suzuha realized she was complaining more than usual, but she had to say it anyway.
そんなんじゃ将来。
And then she realized that Itaru wasn't even listening to her anymore. His eyes were fixed on the computer monitor. He'd moved his mouse out of sight, but she could still hear him clicking it.
話を聞きなさい。
Suzuha approached her father from behind and put the hairspray can she'd been hiding up to his neck. I love that it's got the fucking sinister music. Itaru seemed to think it was a gun. He stuck his hands up. Threats like this worked. They worked because she told him that she'd survived in the Third World War and the wars and chaos of 2036, and that she was ready to draw a gun and pull the trigger whenever she needed to.
すずは、やめてくんないと父さん怒っちゃう。
怒られるのは父さんの方。
はい、すみません。でもさ、僕の秘密の仕事知ってるっしょ？あれが結構忙しいんだよ。僕ぐらいのハッカーになると引く手あまたでさ。食事も適当に済ませざるを得ないっつうか。海外のクライアント相手だと時差もあって昼夜逆転しちゃうっつうか。
未来の父さんもそんなことばっかり言って母さんに叱られてた。
Me.
100歩譲って睡眠周期は仕方ないとしても、これ以上健康を損ねるような食事は許容範囲外。即刻中止すること。いい？
だけど仕事もそうだけどタイムマシンの研究が大変なんだ。癒しが欲しいんだよね僕。
そうやって言い訳してすぐだらけようとする。甘えてるよ父さん。
Uzaha was always amazed that her dad managed to survive the future's wars. But since the time machine research would affect the future, and eventually Suzuha's very presence here, she couldn't tell him to stop. Even after Rintaro Okabe stopped coming to the future gadget lab, Itaru had kept working on the time machine all by himself. Suzuha never said a word about it. If she did, it might create a time paradox.
タイムマシンを作るのに未来から来たタイムマシンを精査しちゃダメだからね。
She decided to warn him again.
分かってるよそんなこと。でも時々自信なくなるんだよね。僕本当にタイムマシンなんて作るん？
当然だよ。しっかりして。
はい。
She said with a pretend gun pointed at his fucking neck. Suzuha took the can of hairspray off his neck.
てっきり銃だと思ったらなんというはったり。父さんを騙すなんてひどいよ。
次は本物使うからね。
それマジ勘弁。
Suzuha put the can of hairspray back on the shelf. It was something Rintaro Okabe had left here when he lived in the lab. It was still here since its owner never came back for it.
漫画とかゲームだとさ、父親を叱る娘ってのはもっとこう燃えるんだけどな。鈴葉、ちょっとさ、もうダメだよパパって言ってみてくんない？できれば甘やかすような口調で。なんでもないでござる。
Her dad shrank from Suzuha's glare. Suzuha sighed loudly and dropped herself on the sofa. She leaned back against the headrest and stared at the ceiling, then closed her eyes.
どうしたん？
なんでも。
隠しても無駄なのだぜ。鈴葉のなんでもないってのは話を聞いてほしいって意味っしょ。ほら、話してみるといいよ。
Maru sounded very serious. Suzuha's eyes went wide for a moment, but then she realized.
そのセリフ、この前プレイしてたギャルゲーにあったよね。それでフラグが成立するんだっけ？
Oh my lord. She had been living here for 3 months. She was starting to learn a little about Akihabara's culture, circa 2010.
父さん、間違っても私を落とそうとか思わないでよね。
Oh my god.
ねえよ、実の娘にそんなことしないって。
本当かな？未来の父さんはちょっと怪しかった。私が思春期になってからもよく一緒にお風呂入ろうって誘われたな。
何それ怖い。
私は軍属だったし、父さんはタイムマシンの開発に追われてたからいつも一緒にいられるわけじゃなかったけど、とにかくベタベタしてきたよ。鬱陶しいくらいにね。
Her dad looked honestly depressed, and she realized she'd gone too far.
父さんはさ、いつも私に言ってくれてたよ。ここは最低最悪の世界線だけど、私が誕生したことだけは最高だって。
Oh man, that's... Oh, you can't hit me with that right now.
私、 未来の父さんを失望させたくないんだ。だから絶対にオカリンおじさんを説得しなきゃ。
大丈夫、失望したりしないって、絶対に。
そうかな。
うん。
けどね、おじさんはどうしても話を聞いてくれないよ。このままじゃおじさんは過去へ行かない。マキセ・クリスを救出しない。シュタインズゲートにも到達しない。
Steins Gate. That was the name of the mysterious world line her dad had told her about in 2036, where World War III might not occur. Leading Rintaro Okabe to that world line was her mission. But right now, it wasn't going well. Suzuha had come to 2010, and just like the mission had called for, she had succeeded in sending Rintaro Okabe to July 28th. But then he'd failed, and he wasn't going to try again. Every time they met, she'd try to convince him, but who knew if her words were having any effect?
結局第三次世界大戦に世界線は収束して、大勢の人たちが殺戮される。それを変えるために私は来たのに、何もできない運命なのかな。
Suzuha had something else she had to do here in Akihabara in December 2010, besides convincing Rintaro Okabe, and it meant she was running around every day. The exhaustion was starting to take its toll on her. During the war, she'd been able to keep herself sharp at all times, and this level of exhaustion wouldn't have meant anything. The relaxed atmosphere of 2010 was actually making her realize how tired she was. She was feeling very sleepy right now, actually. She was surprised at how willing she was to fall asleep in such an undefended position, but she didn't think she could beat the temptation. And then suddenly, she felt something extremely cold on the back of her neck. She snapped awake in an instant. Her movements after that were lightning quick. She jumped up and slid behind the massive body in front of her, which obviously belonged to Itaru, then grabbed his arm and twisted it as she dropped him to the floor. She went to draw the gun at her hip, and her hand swiped through empty air. And then she came back to reality. Her gun was hidden. She wasn't carrying it. This wasn't 2036. Oh, jeez. Don't do that. 2 cans of Dr. P clattered to the floor. That must have been what he'd put on her neck.
何するの父さん。
さっきのお返しだお。
ぼーっとしてたから危うく殺しちゃうとこだったよ。そういう訓練受けてきたんだから、シャレじゃ済まないんだって。
わかったから話してくださり。言いたいでござるの巻。
まったくもう。
Suzuha let her father go. Itaru rubbed his arm and stood up, then grabbed the cans of Dr. P off the floor. He offered one to Suzuha. And this fucking song.
諦めんの早す
Oops.
ぎだろう。もうちょっと頑張ってみるのだぜ。多分オカリンは疲れて眠ってるだけだから、今みたいに冷たい毒ペでも首筋に当ててやれば飛び起きるんじゃね。なんせほら、あのオカリンだし。
This face is so funny. She realized her dad was trying to cheer her up and nodded. Then she heard footsteps coming up the stairs and some slightly off-key humming. No! Oh my god, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt me too much. Okay, I'm okay. I'm alright. That song is unfucking fair. Their eyes met. Just the sound was enough to tell them who it was.
隠れろ、鈴葉。
オキドキ。
Suzuha moved fast, maybe even faster than when she knocked her father to the ground. She quickly and silently jumped behind the curtain that separated the lab's development room from the rest of it. Just as she hid beneath the desk, there was a knock at the door. Suzuha knew that voice, of course. It was her mom. She could tell from the noises he was making, that her dad was panicking. There was another knock.
Hi, 今出る
Taru went to open the door. Suzuha took a deep breath and concentrated her mind. She remembered the time she'd spent 3 days and 3 nights on a battlefield with no food and nothing to drink, constantly aiming her rifle at the target. She erased any trace of her presence that could give her away. Her breathing started to become shallow. Dad, don't screw this up, okay?
天音氏、今日はまゆしと待ち合わせ
Itaru came back into the room with a girl.
はい、お料理の特訓をすることになっているんですけど。
Oh, you know what? Boop. Boop. I didn't boop Kaide. I'm mad. She could hear plastic bags rustling. I'm sure I'll have another chance, but still. She must have brought the ingredients.
まゆし来てないんだよね
そうですか。ちょっと来るの早かったかな。
Yuki Amane. Just as the name Amane suggested, she was Suzuha's mother in the future. In other words, the two of them in the other room were supposed to get married.
まあ約束があるならそのうち来るんじゃないかな
待っていてもいいですか？
もちろんここで料理もするんでしょ
はい、橋田さんもぜひ味見してくださいね。
まゆしのはあんまり食べたくないよ
大丈夫ですよ。まゆりちゃんすごく上達してるんですから。
へへ
Itaru was clearly nervous. As far as Suzuha knew, the only girl he acted that way around was Yuki Amane. Suzuha and Mayuri were practically family, and he got along fine with Big Sis Rumi, Ferris Nyanyan, who worked at the maid cafe next door. So it wasn't that he didn't know how to act around girls. But for some reason, he always acted different when she was around. She told him that Yuki would be his wife someday. It was too late to do anything about it now, but maybe that was a mistake, she thought.
今日は妹さんはお留守ですか？
Probably.
えあうん
そうですか。
Itaru Hashida's sister was none other than Suzuha herself. Around the same time Suzuha had started spending all her time in the lab, Yuki had become friends with Mayuri and Itaru and began visiting more frequently. Which meant that avoiding her was almost impossible, and so she was forced to tell Yuki that she was Itaru's little sister. But still, she'd wanted to keep contact to a minimum in order to keep Yuki from finding out somehow. That was why she was hiding.
そうそう。どうですこの服？この前買ったんですけど。
I mean, that's fair considering a good chunk of Suzuha's physical traits are clearly inherited from her mom. So Yuki showed no signs of noticing Suzuha. She was twirling around in the center of the room as if she was at a fashion show. That's adorable, by the way. Yuki was a cosplayer and wanted as many people as possible to see her dressed up. Mayuri had told Suzuha that once before. In fact, Yuki and Mayuri spent a lot of time complimenting each other's outfits.
うんいいよすごくいい
本当ですか？
うわ天使来たこれって感じ
ありがとうございます。橋田さんもおしゃれしましょうよ。ちょっとだけ痩せれば結構素敵だと思うな。
はははは
私本気ですよ。
おお
Oh, Taru Hashida and Yuki Amane. As she listened to their awkward conversation, Suzuha remembered the last time she'd said goodbye to her dad. She's Bob Poker with waifus. Hi, how's it going? Also, is that what is that? Is that a game? Poker with waifus. That sounds like I assume that's a game, right? Is it good? Also, hi. I think I said hi, but PlayStation for $3. Interesting. Okay. Is it? I assume it's exactly what the name implies.
治安部隊が万世橋まで来てる。
Gotcha.
ということは、ここが発見されるのも時間の問題かな。あらかじめ流しておいた偽の情報も効果なかったか。
急ごう。
Best of luck with the platinum trophy.
おう、開けるぞ。
すごい。こんなところに扉があったなんて。これなら誰にも見つからないね。
さあ、中へ。
ここって。
It's so weird hearing like a serious Daru. The room was almost totally empty, covered from top to bottom in soundproofing materials. Not only were there no windows, there wasn't even a door to the hallway. The building they were in was once a symbol of old Akihabara before it was completely destroyed by an air raid during the last days of the Third World War. Only a few people knew about the secret room inside it. The biggest reason was its secret. The silhouette of what looked like a satellite sitting in the corner.
あ、これタイムマシンだよね。これがタイムマシン？
かがり、危ないからあんまり近づくな。
Suzuha spoke to the little girl clutching Mayuri's hand. Most of the children in this era had skin inflammations somewhere on their body from all the radioactive rain, but she didn't. Her name was Kagari Shina. Her registration form said that she was 10 years old, but no one knew if that was true. She was an orphan who'd lost her parents in the Tokyo air raids when she was a baby, and nobody even knew her birthday. The name Kagari had been given to her by Mayuri, who was working at the child welfare center that had taken her in. She took it from the word Kagaribi, meaning bonfire, in hope that she could be a light even in these dark days. Ah! Hey, Mayuri, you're so sweet. Okay. It had been 4 years since Mayuri had adopted her, and her name on the registration form had become Kagari Shina.
綺麗だね、ママ。そうね。
Suzuha motioned for the Shinas to step back and put her right hand and right eye up to the time machine sensor. The biometrics check cleared and the hatch slid open. She went inside and fastened herself into the seat.
これほど長時間の有人ジャンプは初めてだが、技術的には全く問題ない。これまでのテストジャンプ通りやればいいからな。
オーキードーキー。
Suzuha began to flip switches, working her way through the startup procedure. She'd practiced it hundreds of times in preparation for this day. The faint rumble from the machine began to get louder.
データによれば、昔のラジカンはちょうどこの場所が屋上になってる。ただし、高さが1メートルほどずれてるからな。着地するときに衝撃があると思う。
了解。
The time machine could move through time, but not space. To arrive at the radio building more than 60 years in the past, she needed to launch from right here.
トラブルが起きても冷静にな。トレーニングを思い出せばいい。
大丈夫だよ。私は父さんのマシンを信じてるから。
Her words must have meant a lot to him because he stuck out his lips toward her. She then squished them back with her hand.
気持ち悪い。
悲しいな。鈴葉は父さんが嫌いかい？
父さんがやるとなんか下心があるみたいだから。
いくらなんでも娘相手に下心なんてねえよ。
最近母さんに似てきたハスハスとか言ってたのはどこの誰？
Christ. Her mother wasn't here. She'd become a victim of the war, brutally killed by the peacekeeping squads.
冗談を真に受けないでくれたまえ。
なんだ、冗談だったの？
Suzuha's voice sounded kind of disappointed. She set the destination for August 13th, 1975. Her first mission was there.
これでよし。それじゃあ父さん、マユ姉さん。
She was about to say her goodbyes, but then... Suzuha drew her gun from the holster. She was about to get out of the time machine, but her dad stopped her.
ダメだ、さっさと飛べ。
でも父さんたちが。
俺たちのことはいい。早く行け、鈴葉。
そんな、だって。
マヤシ、係ちゃんを。このマシンにはもう一人乗れる。
Mayuri and Suzuha's father picked up the stunned Kagari and stuffed her into the time machine.
すずちゃん、係をお願い。わかった。
If Suzuha's mission succeeded, the world line would be rebuilt, and it was likely that the present Kagari would cease to exist. It might have been pointless to send her. But even so, a mother wants her child to live. That's how Suzuha's mom was too.
Mama.
Kagari finally seemed to understand what was going on. She called out to her mom.
大丈夫だよ、係ちゃん。すずちゃんが一緒だからね。ダメ、ママも一緒じゃなきゃダメ。過去へ行けば昔のママがいるよ。今よりずーっと若くて、係ちゃんびっくりするだろうな。
Mayuri handed Kagari a tiny keychain. It looked old. It may have been brightly colored green once, but now it was completely faded.
ママがずっと大切にしてきたウーパのキーホルダーだよ。係ちゃんにあげる。大事にしてね。
Once it was pressed firmly into Kagari's hand, she stepped back. Mayuri was smiling, but weeping at the same time.
行きたくない。ママと一緒にいる。ママダメ。係、おとなしくしてなさい。
Oh my god. Wow, fuck. Kagari fell silent immediately. Even Suzuha had never heard Mayuri use that tone of voice. That's how harshly she scolded her daughter. Kagari was quietly weeping, unmoving.
閉めるぞ。
This time, the hatch really did begin to close. The inside of the machine, and the outside of it, the two worlds were about to become completely cut off from one another. Whether Suzuha's mission was successful or not, she would probably never see any of them again.
すずちゃん、本当に係をお願いね。あと、オカリンに伝えて。スタインズゲートは必ずあるって。
絶対に諦めるな、大バカ野郎ってな。
オキドキ。
Then the door was sealed shut, and Mayuri and Itaru's voices disappeared with the chaos outside.
父さん大好き。
She whispered towards the door, now sealed shut.
行くよかがり。過去へ。
She booted up the time machine.
橋田さん、掃除機はどこ？
Suzuha snapped back to reality. Yuki was getting closer to the development room she was hiding in.
そのカーテンの危な！
この奥？
Oh,
僕が持ってくる。
Itaru motioned for her to stop, then quickly slid into the room. As he reached down to pick the vacuum up off the floor, his gaze locked with Suzuha's as she hid under the desk.
バレないようにしてよ父さん。
オキドキ。
ありましたか掃除機？
あ、うん。
Evidently, Yuki was trying to be nice by cleaning up. Place was pretty messy right now. Knowing Yuki's personality, Suzuha could imagine she'd want to clean it. Itaru grabbed what looked like a vacuum cleaner off the floor and left the development room.
何ですかそれ？
未来ガジェット5号機。分解すれば普通の掃除機として使えるはず。
お掃除するための掃除機なのに分解したらかえって散らかすことになりません？橋田さんって頭がいいのに時々うっかりなことしますよね。
そうかな。
でもそういう人の方が私好きだな。
なんだと
Itaru started to panic again, and Suzuha sighed.
ただ生活については見直した方がいいと思うんです。お部屋の掃除はできれば毎日した方がいいですよ。ここ特に埃っぽいですし。それだけじゃありません。食事のこともそうです。今日もカップ麺だったんでしょ？
なんで知ってるん？
お台所に食べ残したまま放置されてます。
なるほど。
それにお菓子もこんなにたくさん。食べ過ぎだっていつも言ってるのに。
一応気をつけてはいるのだぜ。
一応じゃダメです。あんまりカップ麺やお菓子ばかり食べてると病気になっちゃいますよ。あと少しは運動すること。
Yuki Amane was saying the exact same thing that Suzuha had just said. Perhaps they really were mother and child. What do you mean perhaps? Literally, yeah. Suzuha was just beginning to feel a little homesick when she sensed another visitor approaching. The door to the lab opened, and a greeting she'd heard many times before resounded through the room.
ごめんねゆきさん。ちょっと遅れちゃった。
It was Mayuri coming to see Yuki. But there was another presence there too.
まゆりちゃん、こんにちは。岡部さんも一緒だったんですね。
おかりん、久しぶりじゃん。
Oh, Okabe, my boy.
ああ、久しぶり。
When she heard his voice, Suzuha ground her teeth a little.
興味深いわね。
なんだって？
聞こえなかった？興味深いと言ったの。
まさか行きたいとか言い出すんじゃないだろうな。
ぜひお願い。
話すべきじゃなかったな。
I was standing in the middle of Ikebukuro with a smartphone in one hand, staring up at the sky. I'd been trying to talk to Amadeus Kurisu as much as possible lately. Sometimes I would contact her, and sometimes Kurisu would contact me. It didn't feel any different than having a friend who lived in the real world. Talking on a smartphone in a crowded place like this was a little embarrassing, but I told myself that compared to the things I used to do, it was nothing. That's true. Yeah? I'd chosen harmless topics for our discussion, but it still reminded me so much of talking to the old Kurisu that sometimes I forgot myself. I'd done that just now when I accidentally told her about the lab. She had seized on it.
オリジナルの私は言ったことが？
ああ、いや。
はっきりしないわね。どっち？
ないよ。
Kurisu had never been part of the lab in the Alpha World Line. In this world line, she died before ever becoming a lab member. Of course, she'd never even known where it was.
お前は勘違いしているようだから言っておく。ラボと言ってもラボじゃない。ただのお遊びサークルだ。それに
Suzuha was living there right now, and Daru spent a lot of time there. If they found out about Kurisu, things could get complicated.
言いかけてやめないでほしいわけだが。
なんでもない。
いずれにせよ、外の世界をいろいろ見て回ってみたい。今までは先輩や教授と話す時も研究室の中ばかりだったから。
だからこうして日曜の朝っぱらから池袋を案内してやっているだろう。
10 a.m. Even at this hour, the area in front of Ikebukuro's station was crowded. It was going to get even more crowded as it got closer to noon.
なんなら乙女ロードまで連れて行く覚悟はしていたんだけどな。
何よそれ。
お前の知らない世界が広がっている場所だな。
待って、今調べた。
That's cheating.
本当に興味が湧いたか？
そんなわけあるか。とにかく今日はあんたのラボに連れて行ってよ。私に話して聞かせた以上、責任を取りなさい。よろしくね。
And then she hung up. It was like it was like I was her own personal taxi service. Kurisu couldn't move around on her own, so there was no getting around that, but
まったくわがままなやつめ。
she didn't seem to think very highly of me. At this rate, she might start treating me worse than a servant. The real Kurisu was one thing, or no, maybe it wasn't, but being treated that way by the artificial Kurisu was incredibly humiliating. Wouldn't it be a humiliation for all of humanity?
これはなんとかすべきかもしれん。
As I mumbled to myself,
あれ、オカリ
Nayuri called out to me. She was carrying a lot of bags. It was probably materials for one of her costumes.
ねえねえ、今誰かと話してなかった？
今のは大学のゼミの友達だ。
そっか。今日も遊びに行くの？
いや、今日は別に予定はない。まゆりはこれからバイトか？
ううん、ラボでユキさんと待ち合わせ。
ラボ。
Is this good timing or bad timing?
そうだ。オカリンも久しぶりに一緒に行かない？ユキさんの手料理も食べられるよ。それとね、マユシーも頑張って作る予定なのです。どうかな？
In the end, I went with her.
ずいぶん嬉しそうだな。
嬉しいよ。
Mayuri had been smiling the whole time, but I was the opposite. The minute I got here, I was so nervous, I felt like I was about to throw up. I didn't really want to see Suzuha.
あ、おお、岡部じゃねえか。
お、
The door to the Brontube workshop on the first floor opened, and out came the building's owner, Yugo Tennoji. Like I was the only guy who doesn't get a fucking... he doesn't get a winter outfit. He don't give a fuck. Short sleeves, December. Man mode. Fucking... boss man. Let's go.
店長さん、てってる
おう。
うわー、T シャツ1枚で寒くないですか？
That's what I'm saying, man. He don't give a fuck. My muscles keep me warm. Let's go.
鍛えてるからな。
When I'd been living in the lab, I'd given him the nickname Mr. Braun. It had been a long time since I'd seen him.
岡部、その様子じゃちゃんと大学生やってるみたいじゃねえか。
どうも。そういえば家賃ってどうしてるんだっけ？
I asked Mayuri instead of him. I used to give it directly to Tennoji, but
橋田がちゃんと振り込んでくれてるから安心しな。
そうですか。
おう。
this man, was he a rounder in this world line too? There was no way I could ask him. Oh, that is handy. You can't. Oh, that's super cool. With the fucking middle mouse. Oh, that's neat. Maho, how did things go with Kurisu after that? No problems. Can we just... That's a top contender. I want to talk to Maho too. Alright, that's the winner. That is the winner. I want to talk to Maho too. Give me Amadeus Maho. Huh? What? No, absolutely not. What? Oh my god. Don't say that. Let me switch between the two of them. Not happening. Not for you. Dude, I love these little stickers. Sorry, it was a joke. Oh, is she mad? I didn't think you'd get so mad. If you knew your electronic double could be spilling your secrets about your private life and you'd have no clue, it would freak you out too. That is... yeah, that's fair. I mean, I know it shouldn't happen, but that doesn't mean it won't. You're right. So... so, can you let me switch between them? Oh my god, I love these so much. I couldn't help but be wary of him. That was why I'd started to put some distance between us. If nothing else, I'd avoided trying to interact with him.
じゃあね、あんま暴るんなよ。
Tennoji saw that I'd gone silent and went back inside. Mayuri looked over at me with a worried expression.
大丈夫？やっぱり帰る？
行こう。
Tennoji didn't matter. What mattered was, why was I here? Did I feel like something needed to change? Or did I really want to show Kurisu the lab? I went up the stairs, still unsure of the answer.
てってるー。
Mayuri went in first.
ごめんね、ゆきさん。ちょっと遅れちゃった。まゆりちゃん、こんにちは。
I peeked inside the room. Daru and Yuki were there. Their eyes went wide when they saw me.
岡部さんも一緒だったんですね。
おう、オカリン、 久しぶりじゃん。
ああ、久しぶり。
I quickly scanned the room. There was no sign of Suzuha. Part of me was a little relieved.
入っても。
自分のラボで遠慮とかねえよ。
それもそうか。さすがにこの状況でクリスを呼び出すことはできなさそうだな。
I followed Mayuri to the lab and tried to relax my legs by sitting on the couch, but I didn't feel relaxed at all. It felt like my skin was crawling. I glanced over at Yuki.
ゆきさん、そのお洋服かわいい。まゆりちゃんにそう言ってほしくて着てきたんだよ。いいなあ、まゆしーも着てみたいのです。
I love the hat. I love the hat. This is so
後
cute.
でお洋服取り替えっこしてみる？サイズ合うかな？
I'd heard about Yuki's future from Suzuha too. I still couldn't believe someone this pretty was going to marry Daru. Also, phone call.
なんだ。
そろそろラボに着いた頃かと思って。
Intrusive. I ran into the development room in the back, clutching my smartphone.
お前結構暇なんだな。
どうして声を潜める？もしかして私のことをお友達には知られたくないとか？
当たり前だろ。
Hadn't even checked with Maho and Dr. Leskinen to see if it was okay to tell other people about Amadeus.
まあいいわ。状況はなんとなく理解した。
Kurisu lowered her voice as well.
少しでいいから部屋の中を見せて。カメラを掲げてくれるだけでいい。
まったく。
I sighed and held the smartphone up to my chest. I spun around once, like I was taking a video with my camera.
汚すぎ。
最初の感想がそれか。
ごめん、言い直す。ガラクタだらけね。
That wasn't much better. Well, it was true.
研究室というのはどこも雑然となるものだけど、それにしてもこれはひどい。真帆先輩の下宿先といい勝負ね。
そういう個人のプライバシーを暴露してもいいのか？
Damn.
あんた
Busted.
からも先輩に言っておいて。部屋はちゃんと片付けた方がいいって。
そんなこと言ったら噛みつかれそうだ。
まあ、でも。
Kurisu paused and smiled.
こういうルームシェアみたいなの少し憧れてた。人が集まってるところを見ると居心地はいいんでしょうね。
クリス。
Yeah, Kurisu. In the Alpha World line, you said the same thing.
お前は本当は？
おじさん、誰と話してるの？
I suddenly heard a girl's voice from under the desk and was so surprised I screamed.
誰だ？
黙って。
お前スザー？
Oh my god. Was she hiding? But why? Daru, Mayuri, and Yuki heard me scream and ran over to see what the problem was.
オカリ、どうしたの？あれ、そこにいるの、鈴葉さん？あっちゃー。
That is 100% your fault, Suzanne. Like, that, you did not need to do that. That's 100% on you. Suzuha looked upset. It was only then that I realized who she was hiding from.
次のニュースです。明和党の駒沢康和衆議院議員が企業から不正献金を受けていた問題で、 駒沢議員は今日10時から記者会見し、議員辞職する意向を表明しました。
Someone had left the TV on, and it was playing the afternoon news. Suzuha knew that no one was watching it, but she used the remote to turn the volume up anyway. She wanted to keep the girls in the shower room from hearing us. I could hear Mayuri and Yuki laughing from the shower. Things had gotten really awkward when Yuki had found Suzuha, but Mayuri quickly came up with a plan. At first, her plan was for the three of them, including Suzuha, to shower naked together, and hopefully get Yuki and Suzuha more comfortable around one another. But Suzuha said that the shower room was too small for 3 people and refused. What a fucking plan. Suzuha was staring up at the ceiling.
鈴葉のせいじゃないよ。オカリンが悪いんだ。
No, it's quite literally Suzuha's fault. I'm sorry, Daru, but you're just wrong. It's definitely her fault.
ダルが事前に教えてくれなかったからだろ。
教えるタイミングなんてなかったじゃん。つうかオカリンさ、スマホ片手にブツブツ喋ってたけど、何してたん？
Like seriously, what did she expect to happen?
それは
誰かと話してたよね。
そういうアプリがあって試しに使ってみたんだ。
おお、ギャルゲっぽいやつ。オカリンもそういうのやるようになったのか。そういうことなら後で僕のおすすめアプリ教えるよ。
I guess I'd managed to fool them about Amadeus.
何にせよ、私がうかつだったよ。おじさん、さっきは驚かせてごめん。
そもそも彼女から隠れる必要があるのか？すでにダルの妹で通っているんだから、コソコソする方が逆に怪しまれるだろう。
Suzuha had tried to avoid Yuki to begin with. Just meeting her father was enough to potentially cause a time paradox, she said, and that chance went up even more if she met her mother. But Yuki had found her before long, and Suzuha had been forced to say she was Daru's little sister. Yuki believed it, so why make things any more complicated?
そうなんだけど、母さんが思った以上に私と仲良くなりたがるんだ。あまり会話しすぎるとボロが出かねない。
What an incredibly unrelatable problem. She wants to be my friend too much. Oh man, I'm just too likable.
自分とよく似てる人間が現れたら嫌悪するか興味を示すかのどちらかだろうな。
And Yuki Amane was the latter.
嫌われた方がずっと楽だよ。
いっそ事実を打ち明けるわけにもいかないか。
Right now, only a few people knew that Suzuha was a time traveler. Me, Daru, Mayuri, and Ferris. That was all.
つうか、このまま何も説明しなくていいんじゃね？天音氏はなんつうか、秘密とか無理に聞きたがるような人じゃないと思うんだよね。鈴葉ならよくわかってるんじゃないか。
確かに未来の母さんはそんな人じゃなかったけど。
じゃあ大丈夫だって。いずれ時が来たら僕からちゃんと説明しとくよ。
本当？
ああ。
わかった。父さんに任せる。
Suzuha nodded.
で今後は天音氏を露骨に避けるのやめるっつうことで。
うまくやれるかどうか自信ない。
大丈夫だって。
お前が言うなって話だけどな。さっきだって相変わらず苦手意識出しまくってたじゃないか、お前。
僕のことは今はどうでもいいっしょ。
Then the conversation came to a halt, which meant we started thinking about the voices coming from the shower room.
つうわけで。
Oh my god. Daru opened his mouth. Perhaps he couldn't take it anymore.
ニコ生見てもいいかな。ブラチューの生特番があるんだ。
Oh my god, what? soon.
不許可って言っても主張するんでしょ。じゃあどうぞ。
Suzuha sighed, and Daru sat in front of the PC and put his headphones on.
何おじさん。
いや、仲のいい親子だと思ってさ。
そうかな。
ああ、未来でもダルはこんな感じだったんだろ。
It only just really clicked with me. Her outfit is sick. I freaking love this outfit. Like, that's badass. Anyways.
もっと痩せててかっこよかったけどね。
想像もつかないな。
うん。
And then the conversation died again. What are these, my conversations? There were a ton of things I needed to talk to Suzuha about. But that was why I couldn't say a word. Maybe it was the same for her. Game is bugging on me. I mean, he said it was $3, so it's hopefully it's not too bad. Since there was nothing else to do, Suzuha and I turned back to the TV. The news was still on.
今日、東京銀座でフランスのファッションブランドル・パラディのオープニングイベントが行われました。
As the newscaster spoke, I could see over 100 women lined up in front of a store.
平和だね。私が物心ついた頃には、すでにこんな光景は存在しなかった。
On the TV, a girl in a pretty outfit was talking to an interviewer.
羨ましいな。彼女たちは誰も殺さなくていいし、誰にも殺されないんだね。私が育った時代はさ、相手が男だろうと女だろうと容赦なく殺さなきゃいけなかったんだ。次の瞬間には自分の命が終わるかもしれない。そんな恐怖が寝ても覚めてもつきまとってた。恐怖を忘れるためには狂気に身を任せて自分が殺す側に回るしかなかったよ。
It was war. That was Suzuha's life. I'd been to many nightmarish world lines, but none of them were that bad.
父さんたちはタイムマシンのことで反政府組織とみなされてね。
Daru had made the time machine that brought Suzuha here. It was far more powerful than the one that existed in the Alpha World line.
私も軍から離脱して父さんたちに加わったから警察や治安部隊に追われることになった。それからはもっともっとひどい戦闘が何度もあったよ。正義のための戦いなんて綺麗な言葉は使いたくない。たくさん殺したし、友達や仲間も大勢殺された。その中には私の母さんもいた。
Daru was still staring at the computer screen, but I could see him twitch. He must have been listening to Suzuha while he pretended to look at the screen.
軍の無人機から私を守ろうとして機銃掃射で死んだよ。
This was the first time I'd heard about how Yuki Amane died. She was in the next room right now, having fun in the shower, and that was how she was going to die?
この目でズタズタにされていく母さんを見た。この全身で母さんの生温かい血を浴びた。
Maybe the reason Suzuha didn't want to talk to her mother in 2010 was that she didn't want her asking about the future. There was no way Suzuha could tell her that.
ねえ、おかりおじさん。
At some point, Suzuha's eyes had started to overflow with tears.
この世界線の行き着く先は地獄しかないんだ。今すぐじゃなくていい。時間切れにはまだ少しだけ時間があると思う。だからもう一度だけ
考えてお願い。お願いだよ。
俺は
I knew it. In my mind, I knew it. The right thing to do was to do as she asked. But...
死にたく
Stop! Sensation I felt when the knife slipped into her flesh, and I took the life of the girl I loved. It went from my hand to my arm, then to the rest of my body, and I started shaking. My vision blurred, then almost went black. My hands went to my mouth. And there was a wave of pain, like my stomach was turning inside out.
おじさん、
大丈夫かオカリン。
悪い。
Suzuha poured me a cup of water, and I gulped it down.
ごめん。こんなことまだ話すんじゃなかった。
いや、大したことない。大丈夫だ。
I sank into the sofa and tried to calm down.
鈴葉の言いたいことも気持ちもよくわかるんだ。けど俺は何度も世界線を漂流してきた。こことは違う世界線でタイムマシンに運命を翻弄される人たちを見てきた。
I looked straight into Suzuha's eyes.
お前の非業の結末さえ見てきた。俺自身もそれに巻き込まれて何もかも無力だってことを知った。
Humanity was powerless before the laws of this world.
タイムマシンを使って世界線を改変するのはこの宇宙の仕組みから逸脱することだ。俺たち人間が手を出していい領域じゃない。いわば神の領分なんだ。それに触れれば俺たちはもっともっと残酷な罰を受けることになる。俺はそう思う。
それがオカリンおじさんの答えなの？
少なくとも今はな。
そう。
ただの逃げだとなじってくれてもいい。
ううん、そんなことしないよ。
Suzuha looked up at the ceiling and sighed. That must have been a habit she'd picked up lately.
続いてのニュースです。厚生労働省はアメリカで猛威を振るっている新型の脳炎ウイルスについて、今のところ日本国内での発症例は報告されていないと発表しました。ただこの新型脳炎は潜伏期間が長いことから、すでに国内に上陸している可能性も否定できないとして、感染症法に基づき全国の医療機関に対して新型脳炎対策と感染症発生動向の速やかな調査を指示しました。ここからはお茶の水医科大学の春山壮子教授にお話を伺います。春山さん、この新型の脳炎というのは具体的にはどのような症状が出るものなのでしょうか？
新型脳炎は感染力は弱いのですが、潜伏期間が長く突然発症します。症状としては幻覚や記憶障害が主ですね。例えばそうですね、会社で仕事をしていたはずなのに気がつくと家にいたりですとか、会ったこともない人に会った記憶があるというような症例が報告されています。あとは実際には発生していない事件が起こった覚えがあるなどといった記憶の混乱も現れているようです。夢と現実の区別ができなくなったり、時間感覚を失ったり、周りの人と記憶が一致しなくなるので錯乱状態に陥ったり、いわゆる寝ぼけているような状態、デジャブのようなものと言えますが、もっと症状がはっきりしています。
治療法についてはいかがでしょう？
他の脳炎と違いまして、適切な治療を受ければ比較的速やかに完治することが分かっています。ですので、もし国内で感染者が出たとしても、それほど恐れることはないと思いますよ。
The reporter was still talking, but I couldn't hear what she was saying. The information I just heard was that shocking. A new kind of encephalitis. I knew the symptoms she was describing. Losing the ability to discriminate between dreams and reality. Losing your sense of the passage of time. Your memories no longer match those of the people around you. That was exactly the same as reading Steiner. Alright, I'm gonna take this opportunity to call it a day. Yet another shift. Seems like a good time to save and call it a day. I always feel like I need to say something before I go. Good stream. Bye.